Hello, my Teaserking family. Well, pretty good day yesterday until the evening. I couldn't finish the teaser. I had it was the Army loses, Texas loses, which I had together, so that was fine. If you lose one half, if you lose both halves of the teaser, you don't care. Um, well, let's walk through the games. All right, so we will start with Miami of Florida beats Miami of Ohio 38-3. Van Dyke looked good. They looked good. Their defense looked good against. They're playing Miami of Ohio. So, well, we don't know how much to take this, but Van Dyke looked good. The thumb wasn't bothering him, which is good. And they kill him 38-3. Did we learn anything? Maybe Miami's got a better defense, hopefully. And Van Dyke looked good. So that's what we learned. Michigan State, no, let's go to 9-2. All right, my first game, Lou Monroe 17, Army 13. Did we learn anything? Yeah, keep betting Army under. Army ran a lot. Hey, Titus, good morning. Happy Sunday to you all. Good morning to you, Titus. Titus, okay. So what we're looking at in week one is to learn. We don't know the teams this year. We know them from last year, this transfer portal. So we're trying to figure out, who's the A and the Z and the overs and everything else. So a lot of it was not bet yesterday because we didn't know how to bet it. The logic is we're going to bet A versus A. We're going to take the dog over and over. We're taking the over. Unders play under. We're taking under. And, we missed New Mexico State and Mass because Mass we thought was terrible, and they got blown out yesterday. And New Mexico State won by 60 yesterday, so it was really motherfucker. We had the right pick. It just it was the wrong week for it. Just a second. So Army goes to a new offense. Hey, Nick. I don't know if West Virginia's a Z team, but Penn State, West Virginia covered in the T's. They're getting 21. They won by 23. New quarterback. Oklahoma over easy, too. Oklahoma, like I said, we didn't get anything from Ark State. We needed to get it all from Oklahoma, and they did cover it. It was a low number, 58, and they had that in their halftime. So those, this is the problem. There's so many games and so many ways to play it. You could have played Oklahoma because you thought, well, I'm not going to get Arkansas State to score, or play it over. I didn't play it over because I was concerned Arkansas State wouldn't score, and they didn't. They put up a 0, but Oklahoma puts up 73. So that was good. But I had the over in the UCLA Coastal Carolina game, and where did it go? Now USC, I played USC and I laid the points, and they won by 50. So you get what you think over. Texas never played Manning. That was my hope. They're up 37-3, third quarter. Okay, where's Manning? He didn't come out. Texas didn't do shit, and then Rice scores a late touchdown. Well, nothing you can do. That's part of it. Playing LSU Rutgers today. Good luck to you. I don't have anything today. Maybe Duke tomorrow would be what I maybe like, but right now it's just watch and learn. So anyway, So Army, new offensive coordinator, and they throw they throw the ball a little bit more, 2 interceptions from the quarterback. They're up 13-3, fourth quarter. They should just pound it and then, take the ball and just run it down their throats. But Lou Monroe scores 2 late touchdowns, and then they get the win. Is Lou Monroe any good? I don't know. What do you learn out of this? Army's not, they're still going to be an under. They're still not, if they couldn't put a big number up on Lou Monroe, they're just not ready. But they're an under team, as we always think they are. They ran the ball. I think they threw the ball 5 or 6 times and had 2 interceptions. So what I'm doing on my side is I'm looking at the box scores. So I go into Yahoo, and so like here, so I go into the Wyoming game against Texas Tech and go, whoa, Wyoming put up 35 points. And then I go down to the box score. And I can't figure out how Wyoming got 34 points. So I looked, their quarterback, Beasley, 18 of 34 for 149 yards and 2 touches. Tyler Show from Texas Tech, good quarterback, 31 of 47, 338 yards, 3 touches and an interception. So I'm looking at it, and how does Wyoming get 35 points? But that's what you're looking for. You go into the box scores. Texas Tech, no running at all, 11 for 39 from one guy. The quarterback, 15-36. Wyoming's quarterback runs 15 times for 68 yards. So I know there was 3 interceptions or 2 interceptions by Sean. He had 1, but I thought I saw 2. Anyway, that's what I'm looking at because I'm trying to develop the team, right? There was some games there's no running at all. Now I'll pick that up when I go into the stats, but I won't do it till tomorrow because we got 3 games going tonight. Which we'll get into after. I don't know. Rutgers are they starting at 12? I don't know. Let's see. So you've got Rutgers. Yeah, Rutgers at noon. Rutgers -6, 38.5. Really low under. Probably an underplay. Oregon State's 330, 14.5, 55.5, down from 16.5. And 55.5, 38.5. So Rutgers is down from 40 to 38.5. LSU Florida State's tonight, Bobby's game. LSU 1.5 and 56.5. So the question, let's go back to these other games, but real quickly, the LSU game, the question is, are they both A teams? If they're both A teams, then it's a dog. If LSU's a lot better than Florida State, then you would take LSU, or they both have good defenses, you'd go under. In my world, this is probably he's the dog, A versus A. I think they're both good teams. And thus, you would do it like that. But anyway, so let's go back. So Army, we know, is pretty much an under team. The new offense is going to take time. The quarterback really sucked. Lou Monroe didn't do a whole lot. Like I said, 13-3 going into the 4th. So Army probably went for 4th down and didn't get it. That I'd have to get more detail on. But basically, I'm kind of very surprised Lou Monroe won the game. But is Lou Monroe as bad as they were last year, or did they get better? Same thing with UMass. Oh, look at UMass, 41-30. And then they play Auburn, and they lose 59-14, and they're like, yeah, that's who UMass is. They're a Z team. And that quarterback, Huff and Buff, played. and he sucked. He didn't do much. He didn't run all over Auburn because they were ready for him. So that's why that first week you got to get in the NFL is the same thing. You got to really watch the first week to learn. It's really not that much betting. My lock yesterday was UTSA. I was getting 7.5 because I bet it when I saw Houston -1.5. So my big lock this week was Utah -1, UTSA +7.5. That was 17 units. I won that one. I knew with Rising, I thought if Rising's playing, it's a lock. They won without Rising, but if he played, you'd have been 42-7. And UTSA as they go to a dot lock. So the spreads change. But I liked Frank Harris. They lose the game 17-14. Houston has a new quarterback. So they all have the transfer portal, new quarterbacks in and everything else. That was the lock, Utah, UTSA, and it's a W. I kept getting burned like I had Illinois under with Minnesota under. And Illinois plays a 30-28 game. What the fuck is that? They got a pick 6 in the game, which that hurts. South Alabama, Tulane. Tulane beats them 37-17. I have South Alabama in 12. All right, UCLA over. So it was all the finishing. So I have Michigan under, win. So we can go through my picks as I go through this. So first pick was Minnesota under on Friday, wins. I got Michigan under 30-3. They played Michigan ball. They don't even cover. I mean, they're laying 35.5 and the teaser's 29.5. They win 30-3. East Carr puts up a late field goal. Like, I don't understand these teams. Oh, we didn't get shut out. And they missed a field goal too. So they win by 27. They don't cover, but I play it under, and the under makes sense. Fresno State, I picked the upset there, 39-35, just as I thought. Mikey Keene from UCF lights up Purdue, and they both are passing offenses. So just because Walter is a defensive coach, they still play offensive. They're still playing Purdue football, and they didn't have a defense. Fresno State looked great. That's what Fresno State does. I have Iowa under 24-14. They play under every freaking game, and there's a 38. They go under. I leave Kentucky alone. They win 44-14. Devin Leary from North Carolina State is the quarterback, plays okay. Some of these games I can't figure out. They win by, they put up 50 points, and the quarterback's like 7-10 for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. And like, where are they getting 58 points from? For you, Bobby, I'm eating a General Chow. Tennessee, 49-13 over Virginia. Excuse me while I eat my lunch. Tennessee pounds them. Virginia doesn't show up. Again, they don't score. Are they a Z team? No. I mean, you got to discount it. They played Tennessee 49-13. If they're playing Tennessee 49-13, to give up 49 to Tennessee makes sense. Now, could you have played it over 62? Yep, 50. Easy over. Tennessee basically gets it by themselves. So they just roll. Good coaching, just like I thought they would. Liberty Bowling Green. Liberty laying 7, wins 34-24. They look like shit. Bowling Green, not a bad performance, 24, playing Liberty. So it'll be a decent MAC team. You keep your eye on it. That's all you can do. SMU blows out Lou Tech. Liked SMU yesterday. They win by 24, laying 20, 14 in a teaser. Both over teams, but it doesn't get over. It's a 52, and the over was 65, so 59. So they just miss, and that's because you don't get enough points from L Tech, because I don't like this. Backenmeyer from Boise sucks. He sucked at Boise. See, this is the problem. The guy sucks at Boise, gets replaced, transfers out, and the news guy gets him, and he sucks there because he sucked it's not like he got any better. He just transferred because he wasn't the starter. These guys go cry. No heart, no loyalty. You sign up to play for a team. It's like me. I signed up to work at Harley for a year. I'm working at Harley for a year. Now, if something happens and I don't, it's because of them, not because of me. So these players they're all screwed up. Well, I got beaten out. I can't start. So I'm going to leave. I'm going to take my ball and leave. Like, what the fuck is that? So, so the L Tech quarterback still sucks. SMU looked good. Stone looked really good. I thought he was. Let's see. Colorado TCU. Now, I didn't play the game. Again, I warned, be careful. Let's see what they got. Now, what I watched the highlights on YouTube. Where was TCU's defense? Did they realize there was a game going on? Because most of them were just standing around. They weren't tackling. They wouldn't hit the quarterback. Fuck him, knock him on the ground, take a face mask, pound him. That's what you do. You pound the quarterback, and then you get him thinking about the rush at the receivers. They didn't touch him. It almost looked like it was fixed because there was a few really strange pass interference calls on TCU that just weren't there. I mean, there was one in the end zone. They're like, what are you guys watching? So I think it was let's get prime time and win. I think that's what I was watching. In my mind, I said, okay, that's a bullshit call. And then TCU would do it, and they wouldn't get the call. So it looked like a real let's get Deion the win. Now, however, what did we learn? That Colorado, they don't have a defense either. So they're going to be an over team. They're going to score. It's not like the quarterback runs a lot. They just have a lot of good receivers. So this really gets into the depth of what the fuck's going on here. Let's analyze it. Let's put on my INFJ cap for a minute. You got these couple of receivers. Why would they go to Jacksonville State or wherever he's from? Not, Alabama or USC. Like, really, you're that good and you didn't go to USC or Alabama or Ohio State where you'd be a first-round pick. You went to Jacksonville State, and now you transfer to Colorado, who doesn't have a team, but you're talented enough that you could have been USC, Ohio State, Alabama. What the fuck's going on with that? That smells to high heaven. I wonder how much they paid to get those guys because, well, I know you can do these license, but this is not like a license agreement. This guy's a star. I think his name's Huntley or something. Anyway, TCU's defense did not show up. Quarterback looked good, Moss. I didn't have any problem with him. So what I get out of it is TCU is going to score because I love their coach, and they're going to score because that's what they do. And their defense is not shown up. So they're going to be an over team. Colorado's going to be an over team because they couldn't stop the wind either. I mean, it was like TCU wants to go down and score, they score. Colorado wants to go down and score, which is perfect for Colorado's in the Pac-10 now. So, they've been a few years. So who do they play? They play all the over teams. Arizona State, USC, UCLA, Utah. That USC game will be 150 points in that game. I mean, that's just going to be nuts. And UCLA, I don't know what the fuck they're doing, 27-13 to Coastal Carolina. McCall looked okay. Couple interceptions. UCLA, I don't know what the fuck they were doing. Where's the points? When you get outscored by Illinois, Toledo puts up 58, and UCLA, Coastal Carolina puts up 40. It's just new quarterbacks, except for we had McCall. So the bet was McCall. Coastal Carolina covers, but the over doesn't get there. So that's what you got to look at. But anyway, so now we go Colorado goes from a Z team to an over. Strong offense, no defense. TCU was an A team, is now an over team. So now, if this was 4 or 5 weeks later, and we saw Colorado play, Baylor, Oklahoma, whatever, and we see TCU play their games, and now we get this game, it's a lock over, right? The overs. What was the over on this? 63. Went from 59 to 63. This is a joke. 63. They put up 87. So, and it's a low 63 with these two teams is a joke, right? We'll probably never see 63 the rest of the year with these two teams. Colorado, USC was going to be 100. So that's what you're taking out. So this is why I didn't bet it. I didn't know who Colorado was, Division 2 to 1. So this is why we watch a lot on week 1. So that's what we learned. TCU, their defense didn't show up. Or I don't know what it was, because Colorado, the quarterback hit all day. They were rushing 3 guys. They were playing a zone, and it was pathetic. And there was no tackling. There was no effort. They didn't hit the quarterback. It was like, what the fuck am I watching? Anyway, Oklahoma, Arkansas State, as we said, 73-0. I didn't really like it over because I wasn't getting points from Arkansas State. They got to 73. I'm wondering how many defensive touchdowns or punt returns we got. But that was a good one from Oklahoma, but it doesn't really show us anything. We knew they had an offense. Do we know they have a defense? We didn't learn that because of who they played, Arkansas State. Do we learn anything from Arkansas State? We know they had no defense. The question is, do they have an offense in conference? So when these Sun Belt teams play these bigger teams, it's like a horse race. They're moving up in class. Doesn't really tell you anything. Now, if Arkansas State puts up 30 points, we learned, right? But in this case, we don't really learn much. We know they have a bad defense. The question is their offense. Are they really that bad, or they played Oklahoma? Well, and then does Oklahoma have a defense now? Are they an over team or an A team? We don't know yet. So we got to see a few weeks. Again, I'm waiting on the Texas game. Give me Oklahoma as the dog in that game, and that's a lock right there. Northern Illinois, BC. Called that one. That was an easy one. Northern Illinois is a very good MAC team. BC's a Z team. They scored 24. They're laying 8.5, so you get 14.5 Northern Illinois. I told you just play it money line. There was 3 money line plays I told you. One was Northern Illinois, which won. One was I don't remember the others. Let's see. One was Fresno State, which won. Northern Illinois, which won. And the third lost the Cal game. I said to take, where the hell is it? Cal, North Texas. I thought North Texas would play better. Where did Cal get 58? They didn't score 58 points in 5 games last year. So, again, North Texas had a weak thing. So, again, this is a 54 over-under. So, yeah, Vegas really nailed it, having a 54, and that's my point. So, that's why I believe we're smarter than Vegas, and we can find a lot of opportunities. So, Cal puts up 58. I don't think North Texas is that bad. They put up 21, so I think they'll be a good dog in conference. So, in conference, North Texas getting points, you can probably bet them. Are they an over team? I don't know. Is Cal, what are the now in that league we want? You got Oregon and Washington and Washington State who put up the 60. So that's a beautiful, and then they got to cross over. Maybe they play USC, UCLA, the Arizona schools. And now they got Colorado. I mean, every team's going to be an over team. It's going to be, give me the Pac-10. There's 5 games. There's 5 overs, and off we go. And that's what we look for. Hey, Bobby. Well, TCU, I didn't play it. It was a watch, we didn't know what to expect from Colorado. As I said, now they're an over. And TCU and Texas Tech, again, offense played defense. But I got a treat for you today, Bobby. The general, he's here. He's with us. He's he'll be my guest, right? It's Mark McGuire and his stupid PhD guest. I'm gonna have the general. I'm gonna interview the general as we go through the class. Army is the worst offense I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, I'm glad they switched offensive coordinators. It really helped them. I hate watching the military teams play. They're not real fun. Well, but we know Army's an under team because they don't score and they pretty good play defense. So Army's under, Navy is under, and that's fine. We don't care that they don't have an offense. We're not really going to bet them. Lou Monroe didn't have an offense either. We're up 13-3 in the fourth quarter, so it was surprising. I thought they'd win like 20-3. I didn't think Lou Monroe would do much. But that's okay. This is week one. This is why we bet small. We learn, and off we go. So you just got to, you got to figure out what type of team they are. So if they don't have an offense, now they got a new offensive coordinator, so I expect the offense to get better as they go. But the quarterback, he ran too much. I looked, there was no running from them. They didn't, normally the fullback gets 60 yards or one of the tailbacks gets 100 yards. They didn't have any of that. The quarterback seemed to run a lot and get no yards. And you're like, okay, what the hell? You're right that me and you could beat up Monroe, but Army is not us. Yeah, they're pretty bad. LSU will get me my money back tonight. Well, I hope so, Bobby. Did you tease it, or you at least got 4.5, 3.5, or you just laying a 1.5, 2, and hoping they'll win? Morning, Alex. How are you? Your SMU team looked pretty good. Texas didn't boil rice, but I laid off Army when I read that they changed their offense. I like their offensive coach. I did some digging on him. He's not a bad offensive coach. It's the quarterback. There's some games like Texas State went to an air raid offense and they put up 42 and they beat Baylor. And then you got North Texas who went to Mike Leach's assistant and they got 21. Wisconsin went to an air raid and put up 38, but it was hit and miss. And look at Auburn puts up 59. So it's not that. It's always the quarterback. If you have a lousy quarterback, you're not going to score, no matter who the offensive coordinator is, even if it's Andy fucking Reid. The quarterback couldn't throw, and their runs were just straight downhill. Well, that's how you lose. Alex, I'm a Texas State alumni. That was great yesterday. Yeah, they laid it to Baylor pretty good. I thought Baylor would win. I thought it'd probably be over because they went to air raid. But yeah, what'd you think of Houston UTSA? I had UTSA. That was my lock. I was surprised the score was so low, 17-14. But I took UTSA when they were getting 1.5. So my lock was Utah -1, UTSA 7.5. And that's why I bet early. When I see the line I like, I bet it. I thought it would go over. Both are pretty, Frank Harris threw a few interceptions, but UTSA is a good team. Houston may be getting better. They got a new quarterback who, I don't know, all these dual quarterbacks, I'm going to get sick. I don't think there's an amount of money that someone can pay me to watch Army. Well, if you bet them under, you can watch them. Houston game was boring. Yeah, well, 17-14. Morning, Greg and John. How are you today? I expected a shootout and surprised Frank Harris. Well, yeah, I was too. That was the point of the bet was Frank Harris. Yeah, Baylor's another one and was going to take them minus any in the season and held off, and so they lost outright. Well, that's the thing. Now Texas State isn't over. If they play Colorado, we'll bet the game over 100. And that's what we're looking at. So let's go through it a little bit more. So Northern Illinois beats Boston College, who sucks. Northern Illinois is a good MAC team. So just because they're MAC, don't overlook them. But Northern Illinois, Toledo are good MAC schools. BC sucks. So I take out of this that BC still doesn't have an offense. How the hell are they laying 8.5 to Northern Illinois? So that's why that was an easy one. Akron Temple, the battle of the Z teams, 24-21. Both teams suck, and that's about what it showed. Just no offense. South Florida and Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky is just what I thought. 41-24. They're laying 12. They win by 17. The over-under was 70, and I said it's too high, and it was. They scored 65. I think you might have got it in a teaser because I saw it ended about 71-72. But it's too high. I mean, you're not going to get that points from South Florida with Western Kentucky's defense, and that's what they did. Ohio State, plug and play quarterback. The quarterback sucked. They win 23-3. I'm locking Notre Dame when they play them with Hartman. As long as Hartman's healthy, Notre Dame's going to kill Ohio State. This is pathetic. This is Indiana. I mean, our team could beat Indiana and Lou Monroe, and apparently now the Army. But what the fuck? So Indiana gets 3 points. Did Ohio State find a defense? Indiana looked pretty bad. Ohio State, 23 points is all you get on that defense. Oh, my God. Let me go back here. Hope all is good, buddy. Just don't talk about the weather and we'll be good. You tell him, Bobby. Keep him in line, Bobby. Bobby's my lieutenant. Alex, thoughts on Northwestern versus Rutgers? Northwestern looks pretty bad on paper. New O-line, all receivers gone. I think it's the only way you can play the game is under because where are you going to get points? Northwestern is an under anyway, and Rutgers with Shiano is going to play strong defense. The over-under is what, 38? So you go under 44. I don't see how else you can play the game. Can you really trust Rutgers? It's like trusting Army to score. I don't trust Rutgers to win, but I don't see where you're going to get 10 points in the game. So it's got to be an under if you play it. I'm not playing it, but it's got to be an under. Bobby, I sold your cards years ago. You probably didn't get a whole lot, Greg John. Bobby's cards never he needed to hit 500 homers, and he didn't. So what do you think, General Chow? Well, I think the Russians are on top. Okay, thank you, General Chow. We needed that commentary. Now I feel like Mark McGuire. That's a shame to hear, Greg, as the price is just being suppressed and will fly up along with gold. You should have not sold. Yeah, well, who knew, Bobby? Who knew? At least you didn't, is that why you're not in the Hall of Fame was because you did steroids? You and Bobby and Clemens and McGuire and Sosa. I'd vote for you in the Hall of Fame, Bobby, if I had a vote. You deserve it. Anyway, so where are we? So Ohio State looking solid. What do you do with them? So the over I was going to bet with Notre Dame turns into Notre Dame, and now I'm going to be laying 14 points with Notre Dame because it's at Notre Dame. And then, so this is like what happened last year. They get killed by Michigan, so I lock them against Georgia, but I got Georgia even. I figure, this is an easy one. And then they put up 40 points on Georgia, and you're like, where was that against Michigan? Here's where it was. Probably because of my affliction with Barry, as I used to lay behind him in Pitt, and we were cool. Or hit behind him. Yeah. I don't know, Bobby. You're not in the home. Line is out for Colorado -2.5 versus, that's a joke. How's Nebraska going to stay with them? They beat a good TCU team. Nebraska's terrible. I would take Colorado. I think the line will go to 7 or 8. I'm very surprised by that line. I would think where the game's at in Nebraska, or is it in Colorado? Let me see. No, the game's in Colorado. I got Colorado -7. Colorado -7. is my line, and I think it's an over, but I don't know what the over under is. I figured it out, Bobby. That one I got. Well, I think the over in the Colorado game is going to be good. It might not be good against Nebraska because I don't know how Nebraska is going to score. Right? They're terrible. The only chance Nebraska has to win the game is to blitz. Why didn't TCU fucking blitz yesterday? They just sat there. There was a guy spying. I'm watching the linebacker. He's just standing there. He's not moving. He's spying the quarterback. The quarterback's not your problem. He's not running. You need to blitz the quarterback. Hello, is it that hard to understand that these running quarterbacks just blitz them? Josh Allen, Lamar, they don't know how to handle it. There was that one game, Miami played Baltimore in Miami, and they shut him out because they blitzed Lamar every play, and he completed like 2 passes for 10 yards. I mean, all you got to do is blitz and not let them get started, and they're done for. So they can't read the blitz. Oh, my God. Yeah, NFL next week. We'll start talking about that in a little bit. Yeah, but I mean, so we see Colorado against a fairly good TCU team. Should handle them. All right. Washington, 56-19 over Boise. Strong running team, Boise. Problem is, once you get down, you can't run anymore. The quarterback sucks. So Washington, Penix looked good, 56-19. So when Washington plays Colorado, we're betting the house on over. It'll be in the score will be in the 110s. The over, we hope, is in the 60s. It's funny, you get these 65, 68 overs in college. In pros, the biggest you get is like Kansas City's a 54 week 1. You might get a 50 when Mahomes is playing, or a 52. You never see a 60 or a 70 in the pros. But they're not trying to run the score up. You don't see 56-19 in the pros. That's why I like college. All right, Auburn, 59-14. We could have got revenge for UMass. Looked at the score. The Michigan State quarterback looked okay. They just ran all over them. Hugh Freeze, good offensive coach. See, now there, Army goes to a new offensive coach. He doesn't do anything. Auburn goes to a new offensive coach, and he lights it up. Now, this is what I thought would happen with New Mexico State. Maybe not 59-14. And then to add insult to injury, New Mexico State wins 60-10 yesterday. They put up like 50, 60 points. I don't remember the exact score, but I go, there it is. That's what I was expecting. New Mexico puts up 50, 60 points. UMass gets their 14. Where the fuck was that? So week 1, they weren't ready. I don't know. But if they played again, I'd do the same lock, New Mexico State. I just can't believe it. But anyway, so Auburn, are they that good? Or, they're playing UMass, and that's why you need a couple game sample size. Rice and Texas were winning until the end, 37-3. We're laying 29, yada, yada, yada. Manning never enters the game. Where's Manning in the fourth quarter to throw 2 touchdowns? Doesn't get in. They don't score in the fourth. Rice scores a meaningless touchdown with 3 minutes left to fuck us. What are you going to do? So I saw Texas kick 3 or 4 field goals in the first half, and they went for it on 4th and 1 at the 20, and they ran up the middle and didn't get it. I'm like, they're playing Rice. Now, Rice looked pretty good in the first half. They were very good defensively. The quarterback threw a bunch of interceptions, and Texas didn't do anything. So Texas had, all right, instead of 29, they win by 27. Should have got more than 37, I thought. 3 field goals, and they went for it on 4th. So if you get one more touchdown, we got 41-10. and we're all winning. So, yep, it happens. Was it a good play? Yeah. Is Rice a good team? Their defense is a little bit better, but again, so I'm looking. Rice sucks defensively last year. I don't have anything to go on. It's a strange thing that all of a sudden Rice's defense would get better. Usually these coaches come in and bring the quarterback and run the spread and get the running quarterback as a way of getting the team more exciting and maybe a little bit better, but they very rarely go after the defense. So Rice's defense looked pretty good. I mean, they played a 47 with Texas, which is shocking. So very unexpected. But we learn, and Texas is going to be in trouble when they play Oklahoma. I'll tell you that. If they only put up 37 and Rice had to settle for 3 field goals and missed on a 4th and short. Buffalo, Wisconsin, a lot of picks for Wisconsin. They threw 3 interceptions, I think. Mordecai looked okay. They did run the ball, but 2 runners had 150 yards. Buffalo got 17, as I thought. Buffalo is a good MAC team, like Toledo and Northern Illinois. So they win 38-17. They win by 21. They don't cover. Lane 26, and the over-under was 53. It's a 55. You could have teased it and won the under on it. So what do we learn on Wisconsin? Well, that Mordecai looks good. They're still going to run. Their defense, they play a good – so when they play Ohio State, well, I don't know. I was going to say we'll see Ohio State score, but I don't know if Ohio State – I don't think they can beat Penn State. I know they can't beat Michigan. They might actually get a quarterback not drafted because he sucks. What a terrible quarterback this guy is. So anyway, Cal, North Texas, as we talk, Cal puts up 58 points. They haven't put up 58 points in 10 years since Chuck Muncie was there in the 70s playing for the Chargers. North Texas, 21. North Texas, supposedly a better offensive team. We see their defense sucks. Probably an over team. I mean, so if they play Texas State, probably a high-scoring game. Is Cal going to score 58 a lot? I don't know. North Texas is not a bad team, but, I'm sure they played well. But, see, I got to look at the turnovers in this. Nevada, USC, I have USC minus 32. I see 45-7 at the half. That's what I was expecting. See, it always pisses me off. I give Texas out, and it's between Texas and USC. What's my free pick? And I think Texas is going to kill Rice. I know USC. I circled them way back when I saw the initial roster for week 0, week 1. I said, well, it's probably an over against San Jose State. They got a good quarterback, and then they're going to kill Nevada. That's exactly what happened. So I have them here, and I apologize instead of putting them out instead of Texas. But that's the problem. When there's 50 games, you're going to choose, and you got to choose wisely, as they say. So I had the game, and it won, so I was happy with that. Hey, G, how are you today? Okay. Alex, how is Oregon State minus 14.5 at San Jose State? That oogly boogly. Well, he sucked at Clemson. Why would he be any good? And look at the other guy on UMass. He sucked at Clemson, goes to Georgia Tech, sucked there, goes to Mass. He played yesterday like shit, like we thought he would. New Mexico State never blitzed him, like TCU. I don't understand that line. I mean, I don't know. Does Oregon State still have a good defense? We'll find out. I agree with you. I think Cordero is a much better quarterback than Uglia Buglia. If you're not good at Clemson, where you had that good running back and some receivers and a good defense, what are you going to do at Oregon State? I think they should go to the other guy at Oregon State who was there last year, who was pretty good. Oregon State was a very good team last year, but now they got Uglia Buglia. They'll be lucky to make a bowl game. So I agree. I think San Jose State 20.5. I think that's a good play there. Bobby, I think the Oregon State offense is supposed to be more of a system thing, and then they will have a few NFL caliber receivers, I assume, and running back that will make Uglia Buglia look better than what he is. Well, but they can't be better than that running back on Clemson. So I don't. Ugly Boogly just can't hit the broadside of a barn. And he's somewhat of a runner, but, you know, San Jose State just played USC. So this is going to be a breeze to them. Play USC's offense and Caleb, and then you go here and they'll be laughing on the bench. Yeah, I don't see it at all. I just don't see them better. They'll be better if they use the other quarterback. He's a much better quarterback. I hate this. He's an athlete. So when we need him to be a quarterback, I heard that on some guy. I almost fell off my chair. Well, he's a good athlete. So when we need him to be a quarterback, then he's got to throw. Otherwise, he runs. And I'm like, but he's a quarterback. He's always a quarterback. Not an athlete. He's not a running back. He's a quarterback. Unbelievable. Anyway, all right. So UTSA Houston, we talked about, very surprising game. A lot of turnovers. Houston with a new quarterback. Frank Harris had a couple interceptions that were bad, but that was the lock, and it did win, getting 7.5. I can't believe the score. See, this is what I can't believe. 17-14, UCLA 27, what was it, 27-13, and then you get Texas State 42-31 Baylor. I mean, it's like, what the fuck is going on here? That's what makes it hard, is the games where you got pretty good defenses go over, like Illinois. I had Illinois finishing a teaser with Minnesota. I got them under 52, 53, and they play a 58. And they scored late in the game. I'm winning it, and there's a pick six in the middle of the fourth quarter, then a touchdown and a field goal to win it 30-28. I'm like, whoa. So I had that one. It was really low scoring at half, but that's the thing. Illinois plays a 30-28, and Houston TCU plays a 17-14. What's wrong with that picture? That's what makes it frustrating, is you played it perfectly, and yet the result isn't what you think, which is why you bet small portions of your bankroll, because shit like that happens. And only Bernie Madoff could pick 100% in football. He's the only one. Everybody else, we're going to get some losers, but Bernie went 100% yesterday. Oh, my God. Bobby. I agree, Professor, but Ugly beat bad teams in Clemson. He just sucked against real teams, so he should win again. Well, San Jose State's not bad. Their quarterback, I guarantee you, Oregon State would much rather have San Jose State's quarterback, Corbero, than Ugly Buglia all day long. I mean, he put up 28 on USC. Nevada put up 14. I also think USC defense very bad, and San Jose State won't score as much against Oregon State. If Oregon State still has the good under, but look at Washington State, which we're going to get to. Now, they had a great defense last year, but look at this score, 50-24. Their quarterback threw the ball 45 times. So Washington State's not the under team they were last year. We're going to have to find the under teams. See, this is why everything kind of blows up. Minnesota, still an under team. Iowa State, I know. Iowa for sure. I mean, those are given. Michigan, probably. Georgia, they won like 45-0 over Robert Morris or something. So, yeah, you're right, Professor. These games can be hard to pick at a high rate. Only Bernie Madoff can do it. Yes, we know that. Well, that's why you have to come out with your, what are my variables I'm looking for? So that's what I develop, right? This is, Colorado is an over team. They're going to score, and their defense sucks. So we know that. So we're not going to be fooled. The only time we're going to be fooled if they play Nebraska to a 10-7 game, and unless it's a rainstorm or a hurricane. If that happens, then we would be shocked, because TCU's got a good defense. I mean, I don't think they're going to give up 50 points again in the year, but this is what happened. So we'll see. Colorado, Washington, I'm expecting a 110-point game. We'll see what happens, but what I saw against TCU, not William and Mary, they look good, Colorado. They were okay. The quarterback seemed poised. He threw for 500 yards. 75 was a 2-yard pass that the guy at TCU, there was 2 touchdowns TCU didn't even try. I mean, the guy caught the ball, ran around the corner, ran down the sidelines, and the TCU guys are just standing there. It happened twice. The game-winning the touchdown at the end when the guy ran 30 yards, where was the TCU guys? Look at the final touchdown where he threw it and the guy's wide open. Excuse me, you're actually supposed to cover the guy in the other jersey? TCU's defense looked pathetic. So I don't know if the game was fixed or not, but it sure looked like it. It was like we're getting Deion Sanders is winning the first game. So we can talk about it and say, look how good he is. Anyway, so Texas State, Baylor, we talked about. Baylor, very good team. I like Chapin. He had a good game, the quarterback. I don't know if he got hurt because I think I see the second stringer was 6 of 10 or something. So I'm thinking, did he get hurt in the game? But let's give Texas State credit. They are a over team this year. They run the air raid offense. So look for them and look for North Texas to be high scoring games. Cal, we'll wait and see. But in that conference, they should be high scoring. Texas A&M, New Mexico. Texas A&M woke up 52-10. The quarterback apparently was okay. New Mexico still has no offense. So, Bobby, what we want is New Mexico to play Army and the over-under to be in the 30s, and we'll lock it under because that's a joke. What do you think, General Chow? What's your opinion on it? Yeah, I like Baylor. I mean, if Mark McGuire can have guests on his show, we can have guests on our show. So A&M 52-10. New Mexico normally has a strong defense. Vegas got it right where they're the over-under on the game was 48, and they scored 62. My pet peeve is when people defend Vegas that they know what they're doing and look how close they get on the number. Really? So A&M puts up a 62 and the total's 48. Yeah, they really nailed it. Anyway, so A&M's defense, you can't count. It's New Mexico. They don't have an offense. We do like A&M putting up 52. Maybe they beat Alabama this year because Alabama, Washington State 50-24 over Colorado State. Washington State, I like them. I thought the number was small, went to 9.5. Oh, the Sharps missed because they must have bet it down from 12.5 to 9.5. Who else would have bet on Colorado State in this game but the Sharps, right? I like them. I didn't play them. Over-under went from 60 to 54. The Sharps were all over this game. They nailed it. So Washington State wins 50-24. They threw 45 passes, no running. Colorado State, did their thing and give them 24 against Washington State. Last year was a good thing. This year, I'm not sure. This is what we don't know. Does Washington State still have the strong defense? So we will see. It doesn't look like it. But if you're going to throw the ball 45 times a game, you're not going to have a defense. You got to rest them. Big upset. Wyoming 35, Texas Tech 33. Are you kidding me? I see Texas Tech. Shao looked good. Kept throwing interceptions. That's where the defense beats the offense. Do 2 or 3 interceptions. I was watching. I think I saw 2 of them. But I only saw 1 in the box score. I don't know what that was, but Peasley sucks at Wyoming, and they somehow get 35 points. This is the problem when you don't have a defense. You can't bet a team to win when they don't have a defense. So that's why I was trying to talk you out of Texas Tech. However, I did not see the over-under was 50. They got a 68. Vegas nailed it. And I don't see where Wyoming got 30. I mean, Texas Tech money. Wow, what a horrible defense. If you're giving up 35 to Wyoming, oh my God. Alabama, 56-7 over Middle Tennessee State. Their new quarterback, Monroe, is just one of these. It's like watching Kyler Murray real fast. Is he? I mean, I think it's just that's the system. I mean, you got guys wide open all over the place, which you have that in the pros, of course, and so they can make any quarterback look good. He's just kind of a quick, it's like almost like Oklahoma's offense or USC's now, where the receivers just run around, they're fast, and then the quarterback scrambles, sees a guy wide open. I don't know. Again, Middle Tennessee. So they win by 49. Vegas at 39. Nailed it again. Who knows? I mean, good win for Alabama, but they usually have a good win on the first one. They always start good, so they can be ranked number one and probably make more money that way. And I don't know. Can they beat LSU, Bobby? I'm still taking LSU, I think, in that game, and they're too chicken to play Georgia. Penn State, 38-15. They win by 23. They're laying 20. I like West Virginia in the points. That would have won. Over under 48. They played 53, so that wins. Hard game to call. Penn State quarterback looked okay. West Virginia's quarterback looked terrible. This guy stinks. So they're going to have a hard time scoring West Virginia. The defense played pretty well, but they have no offense. Illinois 30-28 over Toledo. Toledo, Finn, the quarterback, ran through for 3 or 4 touchdowns. Good quarterback. He was good last year. Again, this is the best back team. And to do that at Illinois, I'm very impressed with Toledo. In conference, anytime they're a dog, which won't, maybe against Northern Illinois, I'll be taking. And very strong. Good team, good coach, good quarterback. South Carolina, North Carolina. North Carolina wins 31-17. I like South Carolina in the points or the over, which neither of them came in. South Carolina forgot to score. Now, I was watching it for about 5 minutes. Like Saturday night, I spent more time on YouTube looking at the 20-minute, let's see what happened in the Texas game. Let's see what happened in the TCU game. Let's see what happened here or there, because I'm doing this, then I go to the pool, then I go get Chinese, and I'm looking at the scores, but I'm not watching. So then I go on YouTube. It's 8 o'clock. I don't care about South Carolina, North Carolina. I watch it for 5-10 minutes. And what I saw was Rattler was fine. The receiver, there's a receiver, and he goes and does an out. It's 3rd and 6. He does 7 yards. The ball hits him in the hands, and he drops it. What is he doing on the field? How do you have a receiver that can't catch the fucking ball, especially on a 3rd and 6? Why is this guy on your team? Because I need a guy who can catch as a receiver, and I need him clutch. I don't care about first down. I need him on 3rd and 6 to catch the ball and get the first down. He might have scored. So I don't blame Rattler. That receiver's terrible. The Lions will probably draft him because he's fast. That's a Lions draft pick there. The guy can't catch, but he's fast. So, we'll draft him because he's fast. He'll stretch the defense. But if we throw it to him, he can't catch the ball. So what do we care? So a little bit surprised with South Carolina. Rattler, again, looked good. North Carolina, I don't believe their defense is any good. And they get 31, which is kind of low. So didn't really learn much there. Tulane blows out South Alabama 37-17. Had South Alabama in 12.5 there. Very surprised. Pratt looked really good. 4 touchdowns, no picks. At home, South Alabama. Huntley had a couple of turnovers. Just one of those games. Is South Alabama as strong as they were last year? So this is the problem that we talked about Florida State, Auburn. Florida State wins the national title. Winston's a freshman. He comes back the next year. But you lose. It's college. Normally they play 4 years. Now they're playing 6 and 7 with COVID, but normally it's the graduation losses. So you're dealing with a different team. That's why the first 2 weeks are so critical to watch. And that's why I try to stay with Caleb Williams and Rising and Van Dyke and Hartman, because I know what I got. I don't know these, I know South Alabama and Tulane's quarterbacks, but what else do they got? They didn't really run in the game. I knew North Carolina, South Carolina's quarterbacks, but again, what's changed? Illinois' defense looks a little weaker, So you're looking at the graduation, and that's why you need a couple of weeks to figure out the team. Greg or John, TK, who you got, KC or the Lions with the points? I think KC wins the game because the Lions didn't play it down in preseason. I like the over, but I'm really beginning to wonder if the Lions will be an over team this year. Because they lost the running back who got 17 touchdowns. I swear to God, this radio station's listening to my class because now they're bringing that up. Oh, they lost the guy who got 17 touchdowns. You can't just replace him. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean, everything I say, they're repeating. And they're trying to take credit, which they can't. All right, we have another guest. Mr. Broccoli has joined us. What does he think? He likes Kansas City. Mahomes has played in the preseason, as has Kelsey and Eclair. They're at home. Excuse me. You can't just bring in new defensive players and play them in practice and think, oh, they're okay, and then go play Mahomes, where the corner and the safety have no idea how to play each other. Bobby, when you went from the Pirates to the Mets or whichever way you went, you had to get used to the team. You had to get used to, if you're playing third base, where's the shortstop? If you're playing first base, where's the second baseman? If you're playing right field, where's the center fielder? You have to understand and get the chemistry with your teammates. And the Lions bring in a couple of new cornerbacks and safeties. They fuck up the third pick with Jeff Okudah, the Ohio State guy. Now he's gone. Now he'll be a starter wherever he went. You let the running back who gets 17 touchdowns go. The Alabama wide receiver, surprise. I think he did it on purpose so he would get suspended because he doesn't want to play because none of the Alabama receivers want to play. You watch, Devontae Smith will get hurt. Waddle will get hurt. All the other guys, Julio Jones is always hurt. So you watch that. They don't have the receiver. They got the one guy, St. Brown, but he's now the number one, which means he gets the one corner on him, so he's going to be useless. They don't have anybody else. Hawkinson's in Minnesota. You don't have a running attack, and your quarterback sucks. How is that going to possibly stay with Mahomes? I mean, there's no fucking way. So I think KC wins, even if it's close. They're going to win. I just don't see the Lions jumping out to a 21-0 lead. I don't see them picking Mahomes, like some of these games where, they do that. I don't see Kansas City having much problem with the Lion defense. You can't add two guys, never practice together, and say they're ready. And practice is preseason. Practice is a live game. Practice is not, well, we're going to play two-hand touch with the other team. I don't even know if they're in pads in these intra-squad practices. I'm sure nobody's touching nobody's tackling. The quarterback can't get hit. Yeah, he's ready to go. So I think Kansas City wins it. Now I don't even know about the over. Again, that's last year's Lions team with the guy who scored 17 touchdowns. So when they get to the 10-yard line, if they get to the 10-yard line, how are they going to score? Because the guy who got the touchdowns didn't score. The guy from Alabama sucks. So I watched him against Tennessee. He had a couple of good runs. I said, oh, okay. I watched him against was Georgia? I watched him against a good defense. Now, they didn't play Georgia. They're scared of him. I think against LSU, the guy didn't show up. So again, I'm not that impressed with this running back they got to make a first round pick out of him. So I think KC wins. I really don't know about the over. Again, I don't want to get caught into a trap of taking last year's stats, unless it's Mahomes, unless it's Burrow, unless it's Herbert, Russell Wilson. I'll take Rodgers with the Jets. I'll trust that their stats aren't going to be the same. That's what I trust. But that's my thing. So we'll see what happens. But that's why we watch. We'll see what the Lions do. They might just get blown out because once Mahomes gets going, they don't have an answer. You can't pressure Mahomes. You can't. How are they going to cover Kelsey? And they get the other guy from Green Bay. I don't think they have Smith-Schuster anymore, but he dropped the pass, so he's gone. And they always find these guys that, Mahomes makes them catch it. And Pacheco, I just, there's no way they're going to stop Kansas City. KC might get you the over. I think they're 54, so you need 48. So are you going to get 28-20? Again, I don't know if the Lions bring 20. Okay, back here. So South Alabama, surprising. Tulane looks really good again. I wouldn't bet against them too much, especially at home, especially in conference. Although I don't know what conference they're in anymore. They used to be in conference with Houston, Cincinnati, the Navy. Now Houston and Cincinnati are in the Big 12. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Virginia Tech 36-17 against Old Dominion. They found some offense. Old D is Old D. They're weak. So it's about what it played out. They win by 19. Lane 15, which I thought was a big number for Virginia Tech. Over-under was 47. They got a 53, so you would have won with there you needed the teaser. So I don't know how bad is Old D, how good's VTech. I wouldn't start betting them against good teams, but until let's see what they look like next week. UCLA, Coastal Carolina, McCall. He didn't have a bad game. I don't think he had too many interceptions, one or two. I just think UCLA ran the ball down their throats a little bit more. Their quarterback didn't look like UCLA's. A little bit of turnovers, a little bit of running. Again, without watching the game, I can't say, but 27-13 should be the first quarter score, not the final. So I was very surprised at that game. Coastal Carolina does not have a defense. They got a new coach, so maybe he brought in a new defense, and it worked right away against UCLA, which is very surprising. So that's it. I don't know. So my picks, if we go down the list, let's start with that. So we have NC State under winner. We have Utah and Utah under double winners because I had one in one teaser, one in another. Minnesota under winner. I don't play Miami of Florida, but they kill. Stanford, Hawaii goes over. I didn't play it, but that's what I said. Army, I lost. Michigan under, 1. Fresno State, winner. Iowa under, 1. Watch TCU game. Watch Oklahoma. Northern Illinois, I don't play it, but I know they're a live dog. They win. Ohio State, I thought about playing them. I didn't. They didn't show up. Washington, I liked. I was a little scared of Boise's running attack, which didn't show up. Texas, I lose by a couple points. That late touchdown, but that happens. USC, I have laying 32. They win by 50. UTSA, I have against Houston. That's a winner. I avoid Baylor. That's a loser. Washington State, I did pick, but I didn't play them. That one. I lay away from Alabama. I lay away from Penn State, West Virginia. I have the under in Illinois, which loses. I have South Carolina as the dog, which loses, and South Alabama with the dog that loses. those are kind of more risky games. Those aren't really those are just like, oh, the game's even, let's take the dog, versus staying away from those, because those were a lot riskier, because you're going against Tulane. Not that North Carolina was that good, but those probably shouldn't have been played. And then UCLA over Coastal Carolina. Again, UCLA breaking in a new quarterback. Are they an over? They might not be an over team, even with Chip Kelly. So that's what you get, and that's what you learn. And now we learn we're going to bet Colorado over every fucking game. And they have no defense, and they got the quarterback that apparently nobody rushes. Nobody hits. He just stands there because he's Deion's kid. And he probably has a hit contract on him. If you tackle my kid, I'm gonna kill you. I don't know. I've never seen anything like it, where the defense just stood there the whole game. Absolutely stood there. Now, Colorado's defense tried to tackle, and they couldn't. So TCU looks good offensively. I don't mind their quarterback. So we have the Rutgers game, which has already started. We got Oregon State 14.5, 55 against San Jose State. We have LSU 1.5. Looks like 50.5 against Florida State tonight. And tomorrow, Clemson, 11.5, 12.5, 55.5 against Duke. So of those, I don't know. I mean, so I went with the A team, take the dog twice. So here, LSU, Florida State would lead me to take Florida State, but I think I would play that under. And then Clemson, Duke. I like Duke in 18.5. But again, I like Riley Leonard, the Duke quarterback, and they have a pretty good defense last year. Clemson loses Buglia, and they have another guy who sucked last year. So I don't really, again, these are probably games that you need to watch to really digest how good, who are they, and go from there. So it's funny, I was watching wrestling, just a second. And it was Mr. Perfect against Shawn Michaels, like 100 years ago. And I thought of like the government and gold and what we talk about, that Mr. Perfect's in trouble with Shawn Michaels, and Bobby the Brain Heenan runs up to him, and he's like trying to distract the ref so Mr. Perfect can do his move or whatever. And I thought that's exactly what happens. The Fed is Bobby the Brain Heenan, and they're distracting us from what's going on with gold and silver and the economy. And it just hit me. That's exactly what happens to us. You got the manager, you got the Bobby Heenan going up to the government to distract us. And then, so we're watching him instead of so we're watching the government instead of that the money's going to zero. Nobody's quite getting that. I was listening to an old Egon yesterday, and we'll talk NFL in a second. And he said Bitcoin and that is all a Ponzi scheme. He doesn't get it. He'll never buy it. I agree with him. We were looking at, there was another show I saw on the whole crypto is just one big Ponzi scheme. The only way you make money is if somebody else buys. And there's no, it's not money. It's not gold. It's not, it's like gold. I don't need to make money. You don't have to buy gold for me to make money on it, right? I buy it. It can't go to zero. It's the only no risk thing, but these guys still don't understand that. They see that they can't get over that COMEX derivatives keep the price down, that it's being forced down by JP Morgan. So one of the guys will say, well, look in this economy now. Well, gold's holding its own. It's still 1930 or 1940. And you're like going like, what the fuck? Do these guys not understand that it's fixed price? So of course it's not going to do its normal thing. But Coke goes from $1.50 to $3 for a 2-liter. You don't think gold's going to go from $2,000 to $5,000? You're sitting there in disbelief how stupid these guys are, and these are your Bobby the Brain Heenans. They come on, not Egon. He had a couple guests. He had General Chow and Broccoli, and he basically they're sitting there saying how well Gold's performed okay, not getting the price fit. I mean, I swear I don't get. Am I the only one who gets and understands this? Because I don't see anybody else, maybe Alligator, who actually understands that it's price fixed and it'll go way higher. Unless they just can't say it because they're on YouTube, or I don't know, but I'm begging to go on one of these shows and just enlighten everybody, because they're all a bunch of fucking idiots. I don't know. I just sit there, I scratch my head. I don't see how they keep missing the concept. Price fix does not have a trend analysis. You can't look at a chart, and you can't say it's performing well because of the recession, because you're not getting a real price on it. Oh my God, it's just frustrating. Obviously. All right, let's go to the NFL. And let's check the line, since we're only 1 week away. Not even that. Detroit 6.5, 54. I'm sure you're going to see that move. So as we're talking to Greg John, the more I'm watching, the more I like Kansas City even. No matter what happens, Lions can go up 14-0. Mahomes will come back. You've got Mahomes, who wants to win with Kelsey. You've got a Lion defense that hasn't played together, and they got a bunch of new people. This Jack Campbell from Iowa, yeah, good luck with him. They've got no receivers except for one guy, St. Brown or whatever. And you got this new running back from Alabama who sucked at Alabama. He's a quick guy, but in the NFL, give him the ball 10 times, he'll get 10 yards. He has no explosive. He's not Barry Sanders. He's not Gale Sayers. He's not a guy with moves, not arrogant. He doesn't have speed. He'll do nothing. I mean, can he catch the ball to the backfield? Not really. The passes I saw him catch against like Tennessee were flares out of the backfield. He ran out 5 yards and they threw it to him, so he just caught it. Didn't run a route and catch it. He just flared it out of a backfield. But you got to understand what you're dealing with in Alabama. The wide receivers are running deep, which empties that whole side, so the quarterback can either run or throw that little pass, the check down to the running back, who doesn't have anybody for 20 yards, so he looks good. So that's what you have there. So anyway, Kansas City 6.5, 54. Yeah, I'm changing this to Kansas. Now I know Kansas City is not the greatest home favorite from a technical standpoint. We had that talk with Luke yesterday about technical analysis, and that's really the problem. You're looking at history to get the future, and I get that. And in football is probably the best where it works, provided it's Mahomes and Reed for 10 years. Now their trends are probably pretty good. So they're a bad home favorite, but do they win the game? And all we care about is them winning the game. So at home, just to win, they're very good. In lane 12, and they win by 3 a lot, well, they still win the game. Atlanta 3.5, 40. And that number come from 43 down to 40. So everybody got a good look at Bryce Young going, well, they're not going to score. Atlanta, they got Ritter. They're not going to – I'm going to call him Riddler. So they're not going to score. So, yeah, I can see an under game here. This is like Army-Navy, Bobby. Cincinnati, Cleveland. Apparently Joe Burrow's back. We go back to the 2.5 we started with. And we got 48 up from 47. You got Nick Chubb. You've got Wilson, who we have no idea. So we got Burrow in 3.5. It's an automatic bet against any team, even Alabama or Georgia. I would take Burrow in 3.5. Funny, he had better receivers in college than he had Chase, but he had Jefferson. Can you imagine that team, Chase and Jefferson on the fucking team with Joe Burrow? And that's why they won every game by 30 points. But you don't fuck with them. You just keep betting them. That's what you're looking for. When you find it, you just keep betting them. You don't fuck around with them. Jacksonville, 4.5, up from 3.5. 45 up from 44. Not sure why. Indy, what do you got? Richardson, good luck. We've seen running quarterbacks in the NFL. Yeah, been there, done that. Jacksonville will just take Richardson away. Lawrence, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in the game. I can't bet Jacksonville as a road favorite. I don't think they could beat Michigan or even Ohio State as bad as they look. Hard to play them. Well, he never could beat Ohio State when he was at Clemson. I just, I don't know, but I'm not going to sit there and take Jacksonville as a road favorite ever. Not with Trevor Lawrence. Minnesota 6-45.5, down from 6.5 and 46. Looks like Mayfield will start against Cousins. Well, let me give the starters. You got Goff against Mahomes, Detroit, KC. You got Bryce Young against Riddler, Carolina, Atlanta. You got, do we know? I think it's Stroud against Jackson and Houston. I didn't do Houston, Baltimore yet. We got Burrow against Deshaun Watson and Cincinnati, Cleveland. We got Trevor Lawrence against Richardson, Jacksonville, Indy. We got Mayfield against Cousins in Tampa Bay, Minnesota, which is where I'm at. Minnesota 6-45.5. Terrible defense. Cousins, who knows? Very inconsistent. Tampa Bay, Mayfield, really? You're going with Mayfield? You got Todd Bowles, the worst coach. I think Minnie wins because they're at home. I don't trust them. This is a game that you cannot bet a lot. Let's ask General Chow. General, I like Minnesota. Okay, you heard it. You heard it from our guest, the General. It's really a bad game. Do you go over? Maybe with Mayfield, you go over. Minnesota will get 28 points. Their defense sucks. They got a new coach, O'Connell, and Todd Bowles is the worst coach in the league. So bad coaching, not much defense. Yeah, this should be high scoring. I think maybe overs is a good play versus maybe Minnesota. I don't know. It's hard to really bet Minnie to win, even at home, even against Tampa. Mayfield's okay. I thought I saw it move. See, when I catch it out of the back of my eye, I know there's a new comment, but I didn't see any. New Orleans 3-41. We got Tannehill against Carr. We'll see. Is Kamara playing? They got the guy from the Lions. We know they can score touchdowns when they get in the red zone with that guy. Tennessee, we love Vrabel. Allen, I'm not sold on. Hard to really say, how to pick this game. Tennessee normally has a good defense, good coach. Tannehill sucks, but okay. Carr, I think he's better than he looked at Oakland. So I don't know. I got under circled here as that, but I'm not really confident. This is a real hard game to pick right now. We just don't know the teams. If Kamara plays and the guy from the Lions, then I think New Orleans wins. The Niners 2.5, 41 from 3 and up from 40.5 to 41.5. Well, you got Purdy against Pickett, I guess. Purdy's much better quarterback. Defense, two strong defenses. This is really what you look for in an under. You have two strong defenses, not much quarterback. Purdy's good, but okay. If they get the lead, they're going to run it. McCaffrey could get a couple touchdowns. Pitt doesn't really have that runner. I just think it'll be close and low scoring because that's what Pitt does at home, especially week 1. I don't know how much playing time Purdy's got, but I think he played. The shit game of the week. Washington, 38.5. Jesus Christ, 38.5 in the pros. We got, I guess, it's either Tune. I thought McCoy got let go. So what is it? Tune against Thurston Howell III. There's Brissett, but I think Howell's going to start. I don't see where they're going to score 20 points in the game. I mean, you got 2 inept offenses. Washington's got a good defense. Arizona doesn't have, they don't have shit. They couldn't beat USC, I don't think. So, wow, terrible game. I think you go on. I don't know where you're getting points from here. So logically, you go under here. Houston, Baltimore. I don't know why it moved from where it was. Baltimore's 10 and 44, down from 45. And we've got, I guess, C.J. Stroud against Action Jackson. And they both suck. They both want to run. They both don't understand that the defense is faster than they are. Jackson's been hurt the last couple of years. I doubt he'll play the whole year. He just took the money and he's saying, up yours. What is it? Up yours, Gilroy, or whatever. From Kelly's Heroes, up yours, Gilroy. And that's Jackson right now. So I don't think you can count on him to do anything. I wouldn't lay 10. I think this is an under. Baltimore with a good defense. Stroud, he's looking for Indiana. He's looking for the Indianapolis Hoosiers, not the Baltimore Ravens. This is definitely an under game. I can't lay 4 with Lamar, and I can't take 16. I don't think I'm going to score with C.J. Stroud. Now I watched. Let's talk about that for. So I was watching. I want to see C.J. Stroud. Why is he such a high pick? I watched him against Michigan. Michigan played his zone. He did shit. I don't think he completed 50% of his passes. Didn't score in the second half. Had very few good completions. Scrambled a lot. Got sacked a lot. Then he goes to Georgia, and Georgia plays man coverage. And C.J. Stroud never was a runner. All of a sudden, the receivers are taking the Georgia defense out. He's got 20 yards to run. Look at that last play just before the field goal attempt when they missed the field goal. He ran 30 yards because the Georgia defense is playing man, not zone. So, he looks like a superstar because look what he did against the man coverage. And he zigged around a little bit. He hit Marvin Harrison a little bit. So Georgia played the wrong defense against them. They weren't getting pressure on them until the end. Michigan just killed them. He did nothing against Michigan. That's why they lost 40-20 or whatever. So is he going to get man coverage in the NFL? I doubt it because from Lamar, they've learned you really can't do man coverages, right? So I think that he'll be nothing. I mean, I think that's what they're doing with Fields. I think if he sees man coverage, he's running. And if he sees zone, he's 2 of 10 for 20 yards. And I think that's what you do with Lamar. You can't play man, you got to play zone. So against these zone defenses, these guys won't do anything because they're not they're keeping their eyes on the quarterback, which is that's the secret to defending the running quarterback, right? Oh, he'll run all over him. It's Kyler Murray, and Lamar, Hurts. I mean, none of them really go crazy. They get their little 8-10-yard run, a 15-yard run in the middle of a field that's meaningless. When they get down in the red zone, they can't run. because there's no room. You got the end zone. So where are they going? So everybody's looking at the quarterback. You can't run it in. So they're pretty useless, basically. That's why I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Russell Wilson than these runners. The runners can't win because they're not faster than the linebackers. Not even faster, I don't think, than the defensive ends. Because the NFL is kind of funny about that. They'll take speed over skill. So not quite sure, but that's kind of where we're at. So that's my point here. So Stroud he can't throw. Not accurate. All right. The Bears against the Packers, down from 2.5 to 1. Not sure why. 43.5, down from 44.5. So I have no idea. Jordan Love against Fields. Neither one's a pro quarterback. I can't look at the defense. I don't know what they got this. The Bears defense should still be shit. Green Bay, I doubt it'll be any good. It was good because Rodgers was able to move and rest them. I don't know that Love is going to have long drives. I don't think he's capable of it. So I don't know what to do with this game. This is like a college game. This is like, watch, let's see how bad the quarterbacks are. Oakland, Denver, classic AFC West. We got Denver laying 4 and 44, down from 45. We got Garoppolo against Russell Wilson. It's not even close. Russell Wilson's much better. Don't get fooled by Russell Wilson. He had a terrible offensive coordinator, coach Hackett, who's now the Jets offensive coordinator because he was with Aaron Rodgers. So again, he's trying to take credit for Aaron Rodgers, which he can't do. It's not him, it's Aaron Rodgers. So you have that. -4. I like Denver. They've been getting injuries, so let's see who they start. But I think Denver, it's like Minnesota. I think Denver at home wins. Hard to take Oklahoma with Garoppolo, Oakland. And then 44, do we go over under? Well, Oakland's an over team. Denver with Russell Wilson and Sean Payton should score a lot more. So I just think it could go over 44-38. And then I think Denver should win the game. Philly and New England. Philly -3.5, down from 4. And 45, down from 46. I think that number is way too high. I like the under there. Do I like Philadelphia? I think I do. I think you've got Hurts against Mac Jones. Jones sucks. We all know that. He's not going to do anything against the Georgia defense here. 6 Georgia guys on defense on Philly. They'll probably won't give up 14 a game. They'll be like, it's just like we did at Georgia. We're shutting out everybody. I don't see where New England gets anything, but they play a good defense. Although he had trouble against Fields, he's going to have trouble in this game. The great Belichick, who can't figure out how to handle a running quarterback because you won't blitz him. So I think this is an under, and I think Philly wins. Miami and San Diego. This game's up to 3 from 2.5, and 51 up from 50. I like the game over. You got Tagovailoa against Herbert. Good offenses, good receivers, no defense. So the key to an over is the defenses suck, so they're not going to shut you down like a Baltimore defense, or I don't know, maybe a Cincinnati. I don't know who the real strong defenses are. There's not a whole lot of them. Maybe Denver, Philly, and New England, let's say. So you don't want to go over with Philly and New England, or either, if you're playing Philly or you're playing New England. So the Giants, Philly, you don't want to play it over. Or even Dallas, Philly, you don't really want to play it over. So, but in this case, you have Miami, who has no defense. San Diego has no defense. Did they get a defense over the year? I don't think so. Now, will the timing be there? Let's face it, these guys didn't play much, if any, in the preseason, and now they had the bye. So they really haven't thrown in a game to their receivers yet. So I think the whole first quarter, 0-0, it's a waste of time unless there's a kick return or pick six or something. That you could see. But I think overall it's an over. Do I take Miami in 9.5? Yeah, San Diego's a real shit. You bet against them, you win every game. So I think that Miami's probably a good play here. The Rams in Seattle. Seattle 5.5, 46.5. It's been 46, 47. Seattle, we've got what do we got? We got Smith against Stafford. So as far as I know, we got Cooper Kupp back, Aaron Donald back. So it's a good Ram team, although they traded and lost all their picks. So they're going to be in trouble soon. So let's see what Stafford does. I don't care because Stenson Benson will come in and he's fine. I watched that Ohio State game and he's real clutch. I don't know why he went so late in the draft, but definitely like this game. I think it's a close game. LA, Seattle. Does it go over? Maybe. Is DK Metcalf still on Seattle? I know that Smith Ojigbee from Ohio State, who didn't play it down last year, is hurt again. Is that his MO? He's just going to be his whole career. He'll play 5 years and he'll never play a game. He'll be hurt with the Lions guy from Alabama who will pretend to be gambling so he keeps getting so he doesn't have to play. You know, I love that when a guy lies. That's the Bobby Heenan, right? Oh, I didn't know I couldn't gamble. Is Bobby Heenan going up to the ring? He knows it. This way he doesn't have to play. So he gets his contract. He doesn't have to play. He gets paid to sit there. He doesn't have to get hit and hurt. He's probably scared. And so there you go. He did nothing. He played 2 years at Ohio State, I hear, and he caught like 6-7 passes there. Transferred to Alabama, caught 6-7 passes there. And the Lions are dumb enough to draft the guy in the first round and trade 2 Georgia players for him. Unbelievable. So I don't see this guy ever playing. Now it's a pulled hamstring. Next it'll be a sprained ankle, and his arm hurts. I hurt. What a wait. These Alabama guys, just stick with LSU guys. It's so fucking, it's a no-brainer. So in this game, I think maybe you get an over LA, Seattle. I don't know. I like Seattle, but not if Stafford, Kupp, and Donald play, then maybe I like LA. It should be close. We'll see what happens. It's hard to, as long as LA is healthy, they can win the game. Dallas and the Giants, we've got Prescott against Jones, 2 really weak quarterbacks. Dallas 3.5, 46.5. I'd have to go defense. So I go under and then I take Dallas, but I don't know. I can't decide if I want to go over or under because Jones will run. I don't know. Prescott will throw 3 interceptions. So I don't know what that gets you. It depends where he throws them, if it's an over or an under. It's a really hard game to pick. I can see the Giants winning. I can see Dallas winning. If Micah Parsons controls the game, if Dallas is smart enough to run the ball, short passes, and let Micah Parsons control the game, they win. But they only do that when they have Cooper Rush, not with Prescott. They let him throw the interceptions. And the last game is Buffalo 2.5, 46.5. You got to love the Jets, Jets in this game. A home dog to Buffalo. We saw Buffalo in the playoff get beat by Cincinnati 26-7, right? You got the 49er defense going with the Green Bay offense, creating this new team, and you're making them a home dog. Okay, thank you. Send my money too. That's a joke. That takes all of 5 seconds. Allen against Rodgers. Take Rodgers home dog. You got to be kidding. So that be the NFL. We'll talk more about it as we get in. I'm sure I'll do a class Thursday. So my thought is, tomorrow's a holiday, so I don't know if I'll do a class. I don't know if any of you will be waiting at your computers. to why, and I don't know that I have anything to say. I'll do a class Tuesday, I guess, updating all the stats. I'll be updating stats tomorrow. I'll probably go shopping up north. All the discount malls. I just need some T-shirts, really, and then and that's about it. So then I'm gonna we'll break down the college teams a little bit more. These NFL lines, I don't expect a lot of change in them. I think they've already moved, but I think you've learned nothing. The only thing you learned in the preseason is Mahomes played, Rodgers threw a touchdown pass. You didn't really see a lot of the players. So basically you learned nothing. There's nothing to be learned or gained with the preseason here. So week one, you're finally seeing them play full speed, and there'll be a lot of injuries. And that's why it's really hard to bet a lot because except for Mahomes, Goff didn't play it down. So, but he'll pull a hamstring in the first quarter, and then you're fucked. So it's really hard because the players haven't really played. Excuse me, I'll be right back. Excuse me. Okay, so no new comments. All right. So what we're trying to do now in the beginning is to learn the teams. We're looking who's the over and the unders, who's the A and the Z's, and then we use that information to make our bets. And then we notice the surprises. So in the NFL, we'll see preseason gave us very little. Well, when we look in college, let's take a quick look at week 2. So some key games in week 2 in college. We got Illinois at Kansas. Now, I was worried that, oh, shit, Kansas is playing a strong defense, but Illinois gave up 28 to Toledo. All of a sudden, maybe my Kansas can light up Illinois the way they light up everybody else. So this could be back into play. Notre Dame, NC State. Hartman, you can't really bet against Notre Dame. NC State didn't show me a whole lot. Purdue against Virginia Tech. Nebraska, Colorado. Now we got prime time. I got them laying 7. I don't know what the line is. And I got it now. I put in as an over. But I don't know that Nebraska, if there's no way Colorado's going to be the dog here. So, but keep in mind, they don't have a defense. So Nebraska should score on them. So depending on what the over under is, see, we think in those terms, Vegas doesn't. So Vegas is going to look at the score and they're going to say, well, Nebraska, 13-10, and then Colorado, 45-42. So what do they come up with? A 55-point over-under, and then we go over on it. So we'll see. Georgia's in action against Ball State. They'll kill them. I got Georgia minus 35, my line, not theirs. And then we'll see. Of course, I like them under, as usual. Utah Baylor, this will be a good game. Will Rising be playing? Probably not, which affects the over. This is an easy over, Rising against Chapin at Baylor. But we don't know. And again, it's hard to bet the Utah backup quarterback to go over. They're going to run it more and play defense. So we'll see. Again, we're getting the right game, but now wait, pieces are missing. Right? They're missing their queen. I'm talking chess. Rising's the queen piece. He's missing, so therefore we can't go over. So we'll see if he plays, but I'm not going to play that game until I see Rising with stats. He's not playing. I'm not going to play that stupid game they play. Let's see. Texas A&M and Miami. Now, that should be an interesting game. Van Dyke, Miami looked really good yesterday against Miami of Ohio. A&M looked good against New Mexico. So let's see what they look like after this game. This will give you a better picture. I have A&M minus 3. These lines I put in last week. So A&M minus 3, we'll see. Iowa is a 4-point favorite over Iowa State. Probably take the dog there. It's in Iowa State. Vegas and Michigan. I got Michigan laying 35. Again, it's an under. Again, Michigan will do what they did. They'll just run you to sleep, play the defense. You won't score. We'll score 35. And then, methodical, run it down the field. The quarterback will miss all the crucial passes and stuff like that. So let's see. New Mexico State. Oh, no. Is that New Mexico? I think it is. Well, I don't know. Mississippi against Tulane. If you make Tulane the home dog, I got to go with Tulane there. They're a very good team. UTSA gets Texas State. Texas State. Now we know Texas State, right? So now who is it? They beat Baylor 42-31. So now we go, now is UTSA going to play the same shit they played, or are they going to light it up? This should be an over game, but let's see what the total is. Arkansas comes in. They won like 80-0 against a Division II, like Arkansas here with Jefferson. Washington, Tulsa. Washington should kill them. Oklahoma, SMU. Okay, if the over-under on this game is under triple digits, we go over. So Oklahoma scores 73 points. SMU puts up 50-some. This is just going to be up and down the field. Can SMU beat them? Maybe. I got Oklahoma minus 21. I assume the over-under will be 77-78, but we'll see. Those are mine. Here's New Mexico State. They're a dog to Liberty. Yeah, they're probably a good dog. Now, here's the hardest part about betting. We bet New Mexico State to beat Mass. We lose. how do we bet New Mexico State again? How do we trust them with our money to win the game? And that's the hard part about gambling. So the team that loses you money, you don't want to bet. But yet, as I said, Auburn was a great bet against UMass yesterday, and we didn't bet them because UMass cost us. And then here's Auburn wins by 50. So we would have won easily had we taken Auburn, and had we went with Auburn, which was what we should have made. So that's really the point. You have to kind of flush that out. Is it a good play or not, regardless if they made us money or not? But I do know how that goes. You simply just, there's a dealer at poker I won't play with. She comes to the table. I lost a big hand on a 2-outer. I think I had aces and queens, and the guy had aces and tens, and we're all in. And it's the river. So there's only 2 10s and 2 queens left. She throws over the 10. I could have killed her. So it was a 2-outer, and she throws it over. And I'm like, you motherfucker. So I won't play with her. Some redheaded girl. There's no, I get up and go eat dinner when she's dealing. Let's see. Lou Lafayette against Old D. We don't know. We haven't seen. Let's see. Let's go. Memphis against Arkansas State. Didn't learn here. Okay. Alabama 7 over Texas. That is a actual spread. I had Alabama minus 10. Texas probably was looking ahead a little bit yesterday. Alabama was getting their quarterback ready. Texas's defense looked pretty good. Their offense looked pretty pathetic against Rice. I mean, like I said, they kicked 3 field goals, and then they got a 4th and 1 or 2 at the 20, and they didn't make it. So they're not going to do that against Alabama. They're not going to make it against Alabama. So need to be careful there. I don't know. Alabama minus 7. I really don't see them losing at home to Texas. But we'll see. We'll have to think about it. Quarterback looked okay for Alabama. But again, he was playing Middle Tennessee State, and Texas has a really good defense. So we'll see. Houston and Rice. Houston didn't. Neither team looked really good last week. Oregon and Texas Tech. Well, now we see Texas Tech couldn't handle Wyoming. However, the game's at Texas. Oregon should be a real high-scoring game. Would be my guess. UCF against Boise. I like the dog here. I don't. Boise didn't do. They got their ass kicked by Washington, who's a good team. I like how the Fresno coach is now Washington's coach, and he's, he brings in his offense. They light it up. He made Penix look good. Penix looked like shit at Indiana. He had a good first year, sucked the second year, goes to Washington, and all of a sudden he's a superstar. That's what this coach does. That's when you get a good offensive coach. Your player looks better. Let's see. God, it's pathetic. Washington State against Wisconsin. This could be an interesting one, which I locked it under last year and it went easy, but I don't see how I can lock it under this year. They're both throwing the ball a lot. The game's at Washington State. This will be an interesting game. UCLA gets San Diego State. UCLA looked pathetic against the Coastal Carolina team with no defense. San Diego State has a defense. This will be an interesting game. The Air Force against Sam Houston. The Air Force put up 70. They threw 2 passes. They just ran all over them. The quarterback did a lot of running, so they'll probably murder him, but we'll see. Florida State gets Southern Miss. We got to watch tonight's game. Arizona State against Oak State. We got to see who Oak State is. USC 21 over Stanford. That'll be they'll tell them they'll beat them. They'll be up over 21 by halftime. again, Stanford did beat Hawaii, but Hawaii puts up 24 points on them. So multiply that by 3, and that's what USC is going to put up on them. See, that's what you take out of it. If Stanford couldn't shut out Hawaii, now, granted, Hawaii's got a decent offense. What are they going to do against USC's offense? So it's going to be ugly soon. The game is at USC, so it should be a big one. It's a very limited schedule next week. I don't know why. So this week was like 2 full columns, right? And then next week, I got like not even 2 columns. So there's a little bit less, which is good. The problem is for betting is they give you all these futures and first half bets and 5 innings bets and all this shit. It's Bobby the Brain Heenan going to the ring. That's what it is. There's a lot of Bobby the Brains going to the ring. TK, what do you think of YouTube taking over the NFL games? I don't know. I'm not going to watch it. I don't really take and waste 3.5 hours watching these games. I can't handle the announcers. I can't handle it's the line to gain instead of first down. It's like in baseball. It's no longer high or low. It's above or below the strike zone. What the fuck is that? It's all communism where they switch the language on you. I swear that's what they're doing with road construction in Michigan. It's all to control you, right? It's this highway's closed, that highway's closed, this highway's closed. What the fuck are you doing? 5 highways at the same time. It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know if I want to drive up north shopping tomorrow. And I honestly don't know if I can get on the highway or where to get on the highway because I don't know what the construction looks like. It's insane. And then even like the mile roads have construction. So it's a nightmare. Very hard to drive here. And they just keep doing road. They're doing 10 at once. Like, no, you do one, then allow, you can go this way. But they're doing this way and this way. And you're like, well, where do I go? So it's insane. But I don't care. I'm not going to get YouTube. I refuse to get it because they're popping in all these commercials to get you to buy commercial free for what, $11 or whatever. And I'm out of spite. I'm not going to do it. That's why if you watch my playback, and I think I have once, I don't have commercials. I don't want the money for it. I'd rather have people enjoy the broadcast. What I hate most is I'll listen to Alligator or Andrew McGuire and right in the middle of, well, my pick for the Ohio State Notre Dame game is, and then it goes to commercial. And you're like, what the fuck? Then it comes back, and I got to rewind it 10 seconds so I get back into the concept of what they were talking about. Well, what are they doing right in the key moment of the game? I think there's a field goal yesterday I was watching in one of the games, and all of a sudden it goes to commercial. You're like, are you fucking kidding me? So I just I delete as I skip the commercial and just go through it. I watch Red Zone, just shows the touchdowns. Well, the problem with that is because what I do, I like to see the who's playing quarterback, what do they look like. So I like that, although some of these highlight shows just show you the third downs, which I don't like either. Who's quarterbacking? So I want to see more of the game, but I can't watch the whole game. So tonight I might watch the whole LSU Florida State game, or I might watch some, and then I got to go to YouTube to watch some of yesterday's games, or I might, I definitely want to at least watch the highlights of LSU Florida State to see what I got. But I already know what I'm expecting in that game. I know the quarterback, so did a quarterback get injured, but I can probably see that on the injury list. But like here, they had Michigan on Peacock Network. So you couldn't watch it on the regular ABC, ESPN. They wanted you to pay on Peacock for it. Well, who the fuck? What are you kidding me? Michigan against East Carolina? I watched 10 minutes of the highlights. I said, yeah, I get it. I've seen it before. So there's no reason to do that, and I'm not going to sit around to watch Michigan, East Carolina, even if it was on ABC or Big Noon. Of course, I'm going to watch the big game, but I'm even noticing there's smaller, like it was South Carolina, North Carolina was like on ABC or whatever. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this is the big game? Yeah, they got too many commercials on YouTube. Yeah, well, a lot of the, like, I'd say no, I don't want commercials. Because when you watch it back, it's ridiculous. And I know I do 2-3 hour classes, so I don't want you to keep getting interrupted with commercials. But yeah, some of the stuff, if I watch Andrew Maguire or Alligator or those, I mean, it's like every 5 minutes there's commercials, commercial. You're like, skip. It's funny how they're driving you back to DVDs because just because there's no commercials on them. So I go to this digital replay and I get for $3.99, I can get 3 used DVDs and then 6 for free. So I go buy that, and I left a lot in Alabama, so I have to get those back. But that's really where that is. So I don't like YouTube. But then I'm really getting tired of Netflix, even if they have a good movie, which they very rarely have good movie. You watch, okay, Batman's on. Okay, I watch it. Well, am I going to watch it 20 times in the month? Okay, I saw it. Thank you very much. Okay, it's good to watch again, but that, but there's no new movies. And I go to Tubi and they put in good movies. And, you have a little bit of commercial, but it tells you, oh, we got 4 commercials. Oh, okay, I'll go to the bathroom during those. I'll make my coffee or tea. And I know I got a few minutes and then back. YouTube, I'll be in the bathroom listening to like Alligator or Egon. And there'll be like a 20-minute commercial. Oh, like, are you kidding me? I mean, there's one on jackets. It's like a 30-minute commercial on selling a jacket. Like, who the fuck? And so you can skip it in 5 seconds if you're there, but if you're not in the room and you're listening, oh my God, it's terrible. So yeah, I don't like that. But I try to avoid that for you guys. I don't know. I don't make any money here on YouTube. I make money on Teaserking. And then I have a few guys that they bet and give me 20%. So I have that. But so that's next week's games, but I don't want to get into that yet. Right now, it's look at week 1, see what is there. Pretty good. So really that's what we're trying to figure out is who's good this year, who's not, who changed, who's got a good offense, good defense. And then sometimes like UMass looks good the first game, and then now the tape's out on the new quarterback, and he really isn't that good. And then Auburn exposes them, and now he really does suck. UMass will probably go back to a Z team. And New Mexico State put up a 60 yesterday. So, that's why you need 5 or 6 games to really get. You can't wait too long because the season's only, 13, 14 games. So you got to we got 3 games in. This is who they played. Most of them, we have an idea what they are. And that's what you're trying. So you're trying to identify the type of team more so than the trend. Like I used to do like home favorite, home dog with college, and it got too massive. And then it didn't even work. And there's all these transfer portals. So it's very hard. Same thing in the pros with all these transfers and moves. So many different coaches, all these quarterbacks that get drafted. Like, why is Richardson even in the NFL? Why is he even starting? He's starting week 1. The guy is terrible. CJ Stroud, he's going to be terrible, just like Fields. So why are these guys starting week one? This is the problem. How do you trend that? And this is why I bitch at the guys with the gold. Well, look at gold. It's doing. As soon as I hear that, I want to throw up because it just shows you the guy's an idiot. This is my problem with the frustration levels I get. Hey, Bobby. Oh, yeah, that's fine, Bobby. You can go to the potty in the middle of class. That's okay. Just raise your hand next time. Um, so I'm talking about like Bobby the Brain Heenan going up to the ring to distract us. That's what you have with gold, right? Bobby Heenan comes up, the ref goes to Bobby, the match is going on, and they're doing all the crooked stuff. And that's what it is. You have the Fed telling us this thing and that thing. The Fed's Bobby Heenan. We're supposed to be watching him and not notice the inflation and all the bullshit all the Madoff stuff that they're doing. Right? We're not supposed to see that. But I'll tell you, I think the more I watch this, I was watching Mr. Perfect against Shawn Michaels, and it was a back then they had disqualification. So somebody came in, or the big boss man came in, they called it disqualification, and Mr. Perfect won. I like Mr. Perfect. So Brain goes to the ring and causes the interference. So you're watching him and not the man. And I thought about it. I said, that's exactly the government with gold. They're putting on Bobby Heenan, so we don't know what's going on. And here's gold over here. And, gold should be going through the roof, but because of the derivatives, it doesn't. And so they kind of keep us off balance. Gonna have a few drinks and watch out. Yeah, that's what I said. I'm gonna go to the pool soon. It finally opened yesterday, so I can go there, or my apartment pool is open, and then I'll be home for the game. And then tomorrow, I think I'll go to the mall to. I need some shirts and stuff just to get away. Anybody ever have their computer literally freeze on them? My work computer, I go to turn it off and I click the button and nothing happens. So I force it to turn off by holding the power button. And then I turned it on yesterday to see if it came back, and it's still frozen. I can't do anything with it. I'll have to call the helpless desk on Tuesday, I guess, because if it's my last week, then what's the point? But I want to get paid for the last week. Hopefully, Professor changes his pick. No, that's not going to happen. Well, it's not frozen to the point where it's frozen. It's frozen where the mouse won't click on anything. So I click on the files, nothing happens. I click on Excel, nothing happens. Teams comes up, and that's it. But it doesn't. It won't bring up email, and it won't turn on and off, and I can't turn it off. So I don't know. I've never now I want to turn it off. I turn it off. Actually, I don't turn this one off too much, but that's what happens. But no, I won't change the LSU because right now I think it's an even game. Now I might be wrong, but I don't mind if LSU wins. I like LSU, but if I turn on my handicapper hat on, I got to go with the dog. But anyway, so that's kind of what I think is Bobby the Brain is the central banker. Everything's fine and distracting all of us, and what goes on in the ring is what we're not seeing. And then they keep saying like gold. Well, gold's doing fine. It hasn't gone down, as if gold is at a free market. This is the problem I don't understand with these professionals. This Aegon was doing this show with these two other guys, and how they missed this, and they're supposedly, it makes Aegon's credibility look bad. Like, I like Aegon, but his guests look like idiots. However, nobody would notice them. So if you're watching these guys, Bobby, are you going to catch the fact they say, well, gold's been holding its own. And in your mind, you should be going, no. Gold price fixed. The price doesn't move by market actions. So therefore, you can't say gold's doing good or bad. You don't know the price of it. So as soon as you see that, then you just say, oh, this guy's an idiot, which is what I usually put in the comments. But this was like 8 or 9 months ago, but I happened to catch it was Egon. So I said, let me watch a little of it. But yeah, these guys are just clueless. And that it frustrates me is that they don't understand that it is price fixed. So you don't have a clue what the price is, and you don't have a clue how it reacts in market conditions, or you compare it to 2008, it did this. It still was price fixed in 2008. So whatever it did doesn't really matter. It's not like it's going to do that. It just makes no sense. Oh, I need to. Alex is an IT guy. Maybe I'll email him and say, what the fuck? What do I do with my computer? Anyway, so that's kind of what it is. So it's all like wrestling. It's all, they come out. They're all Bobby the Brain Heenan's, Peter Schiff and Rick Rude and Reichert, and they're all Bobby Heenan. They're all coming out saying this and that and this and that. They don't know what they're saying. And the real wrestlers are Alligator and Egon, and maybe Mark McGuire once in a while, when he doesn't have guests trying to print gold money. Well, unbelievable. I hope nobody wasted their time watching that, because it's just stupid. But anyway, I guess I get a lot more than these guys get. But I am an economist, and they are not. But I'm a unique economist because I'm an INFJ, and I bet football. So I see things a whole lot different than they do. And they don't like when we see, like I said, I thought that the Colorado game was fixed yesterday. Some of the penalties on TCU for interference were a joke. There was one in the end zone. The guy didn't even touch the guy. He called interference. You're like, and it's the wrong official. It's the official in the back's calling it. And what are you looking at? So the receiver, stumbles, and you're blaming the TCU player. Did you see it? No, because you couldn't, because there wasn't any. So I thought that game was fixed, that they wanted to make sure Prime won. I'm pretty confident on that. If it got close, let's say. They couldn't make it too obvious, but if it got close. But so keep that in mind. Gold, we're trying to get to a free market, competitive priced gold. And that's where I come up with 50,000. And I love when they start talking about $50 silver, and you're like, oh, God. One guy was talking about where it's between a metal to be used for like the batteries and money. And it's like, dude, it is money. I can use this to wallpaper, or I can use this for money, but it is money. Well, it's not really money. It's really paper with a number on it is really all that is. It's worthless. So the massive inflation won't go away. Interest rates won't go down. We're all fucked, but we're smart enough to have the golden. So we're just 3 steps ahead. So we're playing chess, and the board's set up, and we've made 3 or 4 moves, and I've already seen the way the game's going to end. But everybody's still 3 moves into the game. That's probably the best way I can explain myself to you, because I'm way ahead, and everybody goes, well, when's it going to happen? Like, Luke, when's it going to happen? And you're like, well, fuck, Luke, I don't, it's not a scheduled event. Gold is, the Gold's playing the Russians next Sunday at 1:00 at Notre Dame Stadium. I mean, you don't know. You just know it will. And there's people on the other end trying to not let it go, called the Americans, who since they are the world reserve currency, do not want it to die, because guys like Warren Buffett have $2.5 billion that they don't want to see it go to zero, but they're not smart enough to buy gold, so they're going to fuck themselves. Okay, so that's what's fighting us is these guys trying to hold on desperately. It's like they're on the rope and it's dripping and they're gonna fall to their deaths and they're holding on, but how long can you hold? And that's you guys' question. Well, how long is the guy gonna hold on? I go, I don't know, but we know he's gonna fall. We know he can't hold on to the rope forever. That's how the dollar is. They can't hold it forever, and the gold's going to go through the roof, and it's just when the guy lets go of the rope. Nick, Rutgers easy win already, just waiting on LSU now, doing well this weekend. Okay, good for you, Nick. I'm happy you win. And that's what I do this for, is people can make money on football and can make money and then take that and buy gold with it to save themselves, because that's really important. One of the things they were talking about, Egon, he said, well, the problem is in America, we've never known like it to fail. So most people don't, they just stick their head in the sand, think, well, we'll be fine. It's going to, we went through Y2K, we went through 1980, we went through 2008, and we always come back okay. So therefore, no matter what, we'll be fine. I'll be working, and I got money in the bank, and the bank's not going to collapse, even though 5 or 6 more are getting ready to collapse. And, so, but he said the people in Europe or these other countries where they've had the money collapse, like Brazil or Argentina, where the money went to zero, he said, the Brazil is on, I think it's Brazil or Argentina. One of them, they're on their 8th time they're making the Brazil. Let's say it's Brazil. They're on the 8th time making the Brazilian currency. So it's Brazil currency 1, 2, 3. It's up to 8. The inflation is like in the trillions. It has no value. So they keep coming out. They don't back it by gold, and it keeps, and that's where we're headed. And nobody wants to understand it because, see, in Brazil, they can understand it. They've seen it. They've lived through it. We've never lived through it. And so we don't understand that that's what's happening, right? So most people think we'll be fine. Why do I need gold? It doesn't move because we're too stupid to understand JP Morgan price fixing it. Well, no matter what, they'll just print more money because we don't know. We're not taught that. We don't really care. The people who came in like my parents were in the Great Depression, so they always were very careful with money, very safe. We got to be careful in the banks with the money, and don't buy stocks. My mother-in-law kept her money in the bank because it was FDIC insured. She wouldn't buy stocks, and I said to her, if you need the FDIC to get your money, you're fucked, because if you need that insurance, then there won't be enough money to pay you. So that was kind of just the way they think. But most of those people are dead because that was in the 29. So let's say even if you're 10 years old, so you're born in let's say 20. Well, let's say you're born in 1930, right? So it's 100 years already. No, it's 90 years right now. So most of those people around there, maybe people from the 40s if they remember it, but that's what you remembered growing up. So you're kind of, we've seen the stock market crash, which was caused more by FDR, because instead of just letting it crash and then it would have been fine in 1930, he decides to fuck the whole. He was the worst president, besides Biden and Obama, and I don't know. Put it this way, none of them are very good. But they're all puppets on a string. You have George Soros going, okay, Biden, raise your right hand. Okay, lower. Anyway, so that's That's the problem in the U.S. We've never gone through it, so most people don't think you can. And that's, I guess the closest comparison you can make is like Alabama, Michigan, and Notre Dame always were good. They went through a patch of about 10 years where they sucked, bad coaching, bad quarterbacks, and now they're back again. It's funny how a guy like Hartman comes and all of a sudden your program's fixed. But that's kind of what, with money, nobody understands it. So nobody can say, oh, we're in trouble. And then when I say, hey, we're in trouble, nobody wants to, So I always bring up the Titanic story. Like, well, the water's in the hallways, the ship's going down. Oh, no, it isn't. It's unsinkable. We'll be fine. And you're scratching your head, but look, the water's coming in. And that's, I think, what will happen with the money and the gold. Eventually people will understand there's too much debt. You can't control it anymore. The boat's going down. And at that point, see, you don't want to buy the gold at that point. You want to buy the gold now. We've hit the iceberg, but not too much water coming, because then the panic and the frenzy happen. Everybody runs to the lifeboats to get out, right? So if you think about the Titanic and you think about the dollar, it's the same thing. We want to get to the lifeboat now. We see we've hit the iceberg. We see the water coming in. We know we're fucked. Get on the lifeboat. And our lifeboat's gold and silver. So why wait till the end? And then the big panic will happen, and that's when the prices will go through the roof, because there's not enough gold and silver to satisfy the demand if everybody goes. So what does the Bobby the Brain Heenans do? They keep you away from gold. No, you don't want gold. No. He hit him rough. No, he keeps the rough occupied. And I swear I watched that today and I just laughed my ass off. And I said, that's exactly what it happens, right? So they keep us preoccupied with Bobby Heenan, and here's what's happening. So that's it in a nutshell. And I'm Mr. Perfect telling you, no, you need the gold now. The ship's going down. So there's not enough. We're all fucked. Now, what's going to happen? See, it's not going to be barter. This will go down, but they'll, like, what was it? Argentina or Brazil, whatever country it was, I don't remember. They came out with a new dollar. That they're on their 8th series, and the inflation is in the trillions. But what did they do? They came out with a new dollar, and that's what they'll do. So they keep coming out until they figure out to go to the dollar backed by gold. That's why everybody wants to join BRICS, because the benefit is it's a gold-backed currency, but instead of the U.S., you're changing partners to Russia and China, and you figure, well, it can't get worse. But if we're in BRICS, we can at least get this currency, and it'll save us because it's backed by gold. Because right now, if we try gold-backed currency, the U.S. will kill us. And so to survive, we'll keep, we'll just print Brazil number 9, Brazil number 10. And that's what the U.S. will do. They'll come out with U.S. number 2, or they'll try to do the digital currencies, which, I mean, I believe we'll have, again, from what I hear, they're not ready. They're not ready they want to get rid of the money. They can't. So I was watching some guy, and he had a good point yesterday. He said, what are all these homeless people supposed to do? They're all supposed to just die. They need money. How are they they don't have computers to use digital currency or cell phones, so they're all going to just die. I mean, is that our plan how we take care of our people? We give them tents, and I hear they give them tents and drugs and drug needles for free. And then they, eventually die from overdosing or whatever. It's a great country, great government we have. I mean, don't go to downtown San Francisco. It's a joke. I mean, it's just tense. The whole streets are tense. All the stores are closed because people come in and shoplift, and they don't do anything. This is Nancy Pelosi's area. She's the effective an effective senator, governor, whatever the hell she is, congresswoman. So that's the problem. I have no desire to go to California, Seattle, or Portland because it's all fucking a nightmare. So if you can't read everything that this country's falling apart, unfortunately, gold will save you though, and that's the key to it. And that's why it's critical to buy it. But like I said, I'm 7 moves ahead, and that's why I'm telling you 7 moves ahead. And you look at me like, well, is he really 7 moves ahead? You know. And then Bobby, I know you have problems with your family because they sit there and they don't believe you're 7 moves ahead. Bobby, how can you be 7 moves ahead? And we trust the dollar. It's never let us down before. They're not looking at, but we got a new quarterback that came in who is fucking the dollar up called George Soros. So he's ruining the currency. Biden just sits there like an idiot. He doesn't know what day it is. And Soros is running everything. And Charles Schwab or whoever. So that's what people don't understand. That's why you can't do a technical analysis. It only works if everything is the exact same. But it's not. And what happened in 2008 was strictly a housing crisis. This is not a housing crisis. This is a debt crisis. This is your $32 trillion of debt, plus there's like another 100 trillion. Egon was saying the Social Security, the Medicare, the armed forces, pensions, and paying those salaries is all just, think about the military. They don't produce revenue, so it's all expense, which means it's all printed. So there's really $130 trillion in debt. They can't pay it off. I think they're trying to use inflation somehow to pay it off, but that's not how it works. It's still on the books, and so it needs to be offset. I think that's what Egon says. He says you can't just write the debt off. You gotta, then you lose the assets. So if we print the money to zero, then we don't owe it, but then all the houses and everything else have no value, which is what they're saying. Bobby Bo, yes, it's hard to hang around some of these people with the way they think. They're all the same in our program to think certain ways. They're not critical thinkers like we are, Bobby. We're very unique being INFJs. So, like I said, I watched the Colorado TCU highlights. I didn't even watch the game, and I could tell that the game was fixed. Watching a few of the calls on pass interference calls that I'm like, and they all went against TCU. So Prime could win the game. I mean, it was so obvious to me that it was fixed. But TCU could drive down on them because Colorado didn't have a defense, and they couldn't call offensive pass interference on TCU every play. So, I see things so much different than most people. But I can see where it's headed. You print money, you're inflating the money goes to zero, you buy gold and silver. What pisses me off is when people, because they don't see gold and silver at a free market rate, they don't get that it goes up all the time. It's just being held down. So people aren't understanding gold and silver are held down by the derivatives. They think it's free market, and that's where it is. So if it's at 2,000, that's really what the market bears. It's not. I don't know why they can't understand that concept. That one really bothers me. And when I try to explain it, people don't get it. The best teacher you have is to say, and I hold up my ounce of gold and I says, this was $35 in 1971. Now it costs $2,000, but it's still the ounce of gold. The ounce of gold didn't change, but it takes $2,000 to buy what it cost you $35 in 1971. That's the best way to explain inflation. And for gold to be at 2,000 being price fixed by JP Morgan, imagine if it wasn't, right? I mean, it's at least, I would say at least 20 to 30,000 if it's at free market. Now, How do we get at the free market? Well, the competition comes in from Russia, China. That's why BRICS is critical, because now here there's JP Morgan in a monopoly situation, just like JP Morgan is the only one that prints this. They own the Fed. They're the only ones who print it. They don't want competition, so they want the gold price down. So they can be rich by printing this. So they print paper, and without the competition, then everybody wants this. Then it's used again, Bobby the Brain Heenan. It's used in stocks, it's used in bonds, real estate trust, houses, commercial real estate, skyscrapers, in the banks. In the banks, it's funny. In the banks sit, $1 million of this, and this is that. This is garbage, right? In the banks sit nothing. And it blows my mind how people cannot understand the basic concept. Now I was taught it, and the problem is most people aren't. So agree with you, Bobby, in the fact that they don't learn how to think critically, so they don't ask questions, right? What do we do? We ask, what happened in the UCLA Coastal Carolina 27-13 game? What the fuck happened there? That should be a 75-point game, and it got 40. What happened? And we don't just take it for face value. We dig into it. I'll put it on YouTube and go, what the fuck happened? And I guarantee you they went for it on 4th down 5 times and they didn't get it. And there was turnovers at the 10-yard line. That's what it smells like. A lot of turnovers near the opponent's goal line, resulting in no points. And because you're not holding McCall and you're not holding UCLA to no first downs. It's not like a Georgia defense holding them, but we are critical thinkers that think like that. So we get it. I get the dollar's going to zero. There's no question. I get gold's going through the roof. I get it's price fixed. And that makes you leery, going, well, why should I buy it? It's price fixed. Well, you should buy it because you can't hold the dollar anymore. And then now the competition. So now if it's a monopoly, JP Morgan keeps the price, keeps the dollar. But with the BRICS, now there's competition. There's the BRICS pricing gold because they own 100 tons of it, 100,000 tons of it. Right, 60,004. So there's 100,000 tons of gold that Russia, China own, and the U.S. owns 0. And then I love how people try to defend it. Well, there's 8,000 tons somewhere in the U.S. and it's like, no, they've sold it all. We don't have. It might be sitting there, but it's not ours. So if Bobby said, can I put some gold in your safe? And I got 100 ounces of Bobby's gold in my safe. Well, I got gold, but it's not mine, it's Bobby's. So just because the U.S. might have 8,000 ounces or 8,000 tons in Fort Knox doesn't mean it's the U.S.'s, right? And that's what I'm saying. It's not the U.S.'s. It's China, it's Japan, it's Hong Kong. It's all these other countries that have bought it and probably have taken it with. It's sort of like the same thing as what is it? What the fuck? ETFs. I don't know why I'm struggling with that. It's the same thing with ETFs. You see the ETF out there. So I buy it. I buy whatever. What do you buy? Shares of it. So I buy 100 shares. Bobby buys 100 shares. We both think we have 100 ounces of gold because we bought it, or parts of 100 ounces. But Rick Rude sits there and says, no, you guys don't own any of it. It's all mine. In fact, there's not even gold in there. It's just you bought paper, you bought a derivative, and Bobby the Brain Heenan's going to come out and he's going to distract you while I take your money and put it in my pocket, and there really isn't any gold backing the ETFs. Sounds like Madoff, right? So what do you learn is all Wall Street's a scam and you get out of it, and the only out is gold, but nobody wants to think. It's just like games that are fixed. We know they're fixed, some of them. Some of them are more obvious. Sometimes it's the ref, sometimes it's the coach's play calling. In the Texas game, you got 4th and 2, You run up the middle into a 10-man line. Like, really? You only scored 37 on Rice? You're going to do that against Alabama, you're going to lose by 50. So it could be the coach sometimes. You never know who's really pulling the strings. It's like Madoff. It really wasn't just Madoff. It was SEC. It was J.P. Morgan at the bank. It was all these foreign guys who kept throwing the money in. Believe me, if they gave Madoff $100,000, they got $200,000 back. So it's all Madoff is bullshit. I guess probably what he said is, if you tell, we'll kill your family. So he didn't tell, would be my guess, because guys like that, they'll take the family out, right? What was I watching? It was a movie. Oh, it was 24, and it was season 7, and John Voight was the bad guy. And so he did something wrong, and the bad guy's upper said, if you kill yourself, your family will survive. They got that from The Godfather. So he killed himself to keep his family alive. No doubt Madoff did the same thing, although they all killed themselves except for the wife. But I'm sure that's what it was, but it wasn't just Madoff. That's ridiculous. UCLA would have scored more, but Chip Kelly is stupid. Yeah, but he knows how to score. He doesn't know about defense. The freshman had 2 touchdowns and also got them in range for field goal for 17 points, but he played the Gerbert guy or whatever his name is for most of the game, and he didn't do shit. Yeah, that's how the coach fixes the games. He's got the wrong guy out there. Well, look at Utah and Miami. They didn't start Van Dyke and Rising the first game. About 3 or 4 games in is when Van Dyke and Rising finally appeared. Like, the coach doesn't see them so the coach can't see them in practice to understand how good they are, right? And then all of a sudden there's some injuries, and all of a sudden having an egg roll, Bobby. So they get injuries. Finally, they get to play, and then the coach looks like an idiot. You had this guy. You had Cam Rising sitting on the bench. Really? And as you know, some guys are – Jack Morris, the pitcher of the Tigers, you probably faced him, Bobby. When the game was close or they were winning and he had to get you out, he got you out. When it was 10-0, or it was meaningless. He didn't care. I got some spicy sauce, I think. So guys tend to play when the game's on the line. They tend to play at a much better level. Anyway, so what you have here is terrible education. Now it's going woke. They don't teach you what you need to know. I know when my daughters were, in 5th, 6th, 7th grade, they just crammed so much homework into them. So imagine going to work from 7 to 3:30, getting home, and it was like, oh, well, you got 3 or 4 more hours of homework to do. Now, I don't know how they did it. When I went, you had, if I was in algebra, I would have had 15, 20 minutes at the end of class to do my homework. And I was very quick at that kind of stuff, and it would be done. By the time I left, I never had homework. And so I don't know what to expect with, if they didn't give my daughters time to do it or not. But so how are you supposed to relax? You're in school all day. You come home, you eat, you're exhausted, and I'll go do all this homework. So they were keeping them distracted and busy so they couldn't think. They couldn't ask questions like, what is gold, Dad? Or they didn't have a clue. Now, my kids would go with us to the trade shows when we're getting baseball cards. So I would take my daughter Now, for her, we just bought her Pokemon cards, which are quite valuable also. We always knew to put them in the plastics. So if we got like a Charizard sparkly card that we knew wasn't a regular card in the set, we'd put it in the hard plastic for her. And now they're worth a lot. And I'm sure they're all 10s because at that point they came out of the packs perfect. But that's the problem. They don't teach the kids. So now, had she asked questions with me at the card show, she might have saw some guy selling gold or Mickey Mantle. She might have then developed that thought of asking questions, and that's developed. And I don't think they do that. I don't think the kids are smart enough. And then they got them on Bobby Heenan games. It's not a Bobby Heenan game, but they're distracting them with the video games. So the kid will play video games to relax, to let out the stress from school, and they're playing video games all day. So they have no communication skills. They couldn't do that, right? They couldn't teach anything because they don't know anything, but they can teach you how to play a video game maybe. My daughter played in 7th grade. We were playing fast pitch softball. And they pitch 55, 60 miles an hour for these 13, 14-year-old girls. And my daughter could hit it. And she said the way she hit it was she thought she was playing Nintendo, where the pitch would come and she's on the video game waiting and then hitting it. She said, that's how I'm thinking of it, that it's a Nintendo or whatever the game was, the pitcher pitching it, and then I swing and hit it. And she was hitting it. And I said, go tell the team. I mean, if it works for you, if it'll work for them. The funny part I saw with girls, we'd go to the batting cage and I'd have them hit 65, 70 mile an hour, and they could all hit it. And then we'd get into a game and half of them couldn't hit it, and it was maybe 55 miles an hour. And I go, you hit 65 at the cage. What is wrong? And they said, well, at the cage, we know we're not going to get hit. Here, we don't know if we're going to. So now they're scared of getting hurt. So that fear comes in, so they can't hit it, even though we know they can because we took them to the batting cage. So it's just funny. But a lot of they're not really trained to think. What's inflation? They don't know what inflation is. They don't understand gold. They probably don't understand stocks. And that's the way Wall Street and Bobby Heenan are keeping them. They're keeping them away from really understanding. It's like playing craps, like I said yesterday. Eventually the 7's going to come and all your pass line action's gone. The 7 has to hit. So if you play the game not understanding the most basic concept of the 7 hitting, then you can't play it. So the best way to play craps is put out a few numbers. Hopefully 6s and 8s and 9s hit and the point's 5. You get 3 or 4 points hit and you take your money off. And then the 7 hits and then you didn't lose everything. It's the only way to play craps. You got to be, the guy's going to roll the dice for 45 minutes. That's no problem. And that's really the funny part, right? So the guy's going to, there's the 7's coming. The odds are the 7's coming. And so a lot of people will hit a few numbers and then the 7 comes and they didn't win anything. They won $5. And the way I play craps is I watch what's going on at the table. This is how ingenious I am. If the guys are 7ing out right away and they're hitting 2s and 3, they're hitting craps and 8, 7 out, 9, 7 out. I don't fuck around with the pass line. However, if I see 6s, 4s, 8s, 10s, 6s, 5s, 11s, if I see that, then I will play the numbers because that's the streak of the table. I did that with my father's friend in Vegas. We're walking by a table. So there's me and my brother and my dad and his friend who played poker with him, who was a big shooter, right? And he'd play, craps for thousands of dollars when I was a kid in the 70s. So we walked by the table and I go, this guy's going to 7 out. He just looked like he's not a winner. He looked like a loser, let's say. It's just the way he looked. I said, no, this guy's not going to make any money. He's going to 7 out. Sure enough, 9, 7 out. My dad's friend jumped and ran to me. How did you know? I says, I could look at him. I could see he's not a winner. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just I could look at him and I could feel his aura, and I go, this guy's going to lose. And he takes his money out, and I go, well, I don't, it's a feel I get. I can't really you can't just go play it. Just wait. But it's the light went on that he knew something was up with me, that I could predict that stuff. And it's just always been with me, but I always get a laugh out of it. Do you still play blackjack, Professor, or just poker? Right now I just play poker because they've changed the odds. And now good luck even finding a regular blackjack game. And then good luck finding like a $5 or $10 blackjack game. I'm not going to play $50. Now in Vegas, I guess if you go downtown or the Tuscany or some of these smaller hotels, you can find $5 blackjack. If I go to Caesars, you can't find 5. It's probably 15 to 25 minimum. If you can find it, they make the odds bad where it's now, instead of 7 to 6 for blackjack, it's like 6 to 5. And if you make football betting 14 to 10, it's a lot harder to win than if it's even money or 11 to 10, because every time you lose that much more in juice. So they're really buckling down on what we do. But I play poker because I'm not fucking with the house. Then it becomes me against you. I can beat you, but I can't beat the bad odds in blackjack or the bad odds in craps. I went to Romania and to visit my girls there, and I go to play poker, and there was a caveat that said you can't, like, if you're winning, you can't leave for 2 or 3 hours. So in other words, I get hot. I hit a set against aces. I'm up $400 or $500 the first half hour because who knows when it comes. I have to sit at the table for 3 hours or something. This is Romanian casino rule. So I just got up and left. I didn't even sit. I was waiting an hour to get into the table, and there was only 1 or 2 tables there. This was a Saturday night or Friday night at a casino like Marriott or something. Nice hotel. Nice looking girls, but it was stupid. So I just went back to the hotel and played there. He was the mush, like the guy in the Bronx Tale who's bad luck at 2 horse races and always loses. Well, I think I can tell. Then there was a guy with the gold chain and a nice shirt and really nice hair with the hot girl next to him. And I said, yeah, he's the winner. He's going to win. And my dad's friend pulled out and played him, and he won. So it's a lot of it. It's a luck. It's stuff like that. You remember the movie? Was the mush like the guy? The Bronx Tale, was that Richard Dreyfuss? There was a Richard Dreyfuss movie where he goes to the track and he has everybody pick his horses for him because he thinks they're all losers. So one guy will pick the 4, one guy will pick the 6. He crosses those out, and then whatever's left is who he bets on. And he won like eight races in a row. And he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was just saying, I know this guy's going to lose, and I know this guy's going to lose. So it was really funny. I got 2 egg rolls yesterday, Bobby. It's a treat. So what you have to do is critically think. What the fuck is that, Professor? That's seeing something that doesn't make sense and asking questions. Robert De Niro. I don't recall that movie. Anyway, so if the Lions were to win 35-0 against Kansas City, you'd be going, what the fuck happened? And if Mahomes didn't get hurt, you just would go, that doesn't make sense. And then that's what you need to do, like the UCLA game. And the guy who played Sonny was named Chaz Soothing. Okay, Bobby. I'm not really with you there. It's the movie about the Bronx Mafia. Okay. I'll keep an eye on it. It's probably on YouTube or a Tubi or something. A lot of good movies on Tubi, and then they keep shuffling it in. So right now I'm watching The Devil's Brigade, and I was watching House Guest. I love that with Sinbad. God, that I laughed my ass off. They're playing speed golf with Sinbad and the guy from Saturday Night Live, Hartman, and they're at the thing, and the mafia is trying to get them, and they see them, so they go, "Let's play speed golf," and they all four hit the ball at the same time, and they're all in the fairway hitting at the same time. I never laughed so hard in my life. You should check it out sometime, Bobby. But I'll have to put it in the Bobby Bow list. You check out House Guest with Sinbad. I'm sure you'd like it. Very funny. Anyway, him and Phil Hartman. So you got to be a critical thinker, which is, if you don't know anything, say, we've got 30 trillion in debt, really 130, but let's just say the 33, 34 trillion in debt. Is that okay? Even if you don't understand finance, that's got to be like, how can we keep going with that much debt? And that's the question that, and then you find me and you ask me that. But basically, you can't. It's going to destroy the currency, and then you have to figure out a safe out. And that's what I did immediately. Was I saw it coming. I said, what currency do I go in? I realized that all of them were the same, so I got into gold and silver. No, I always was in the gold and silver, but I basically took all my money out and just moved it into gold and silver. Yeah, laugh my ass. Check that movie out. It's comedy. Yeah, it's Sinbad. It's classic. It's you'll like it. Like I said, it's one of those movies you can just keep watching. Like it ends and you're going, yeah, I'd like to see it again. Classic Sinbad. He's very good in the role. Phil Hartman. But I'm out of water. Anyway, you'd enjoy it. It's a good thing on a holiday weekend. Yeah, it's a comedy, Bobby. So anyway, so that's what you do is you see something like the debt's high and go, how does that affect me? And as Bobby's saying, and I'm agreeing, is most people don't ask that question. For example, Bobby's family. Bobby tries to explain buy gold. They don't listen to him. They think he's out of his mind. Why would I get out of money? 32 trillion in debt. Inflation, high interest rates. The money is going to zero. That's why you get out of it. They don't understand the concept. They don't understand the question to ask. They don't say, well, why are you going into gold? They just roll their eyes at Bobby and they go, what are you doing? Why would you buy gold? The dollar's always been around, so it always will be. I mean, it's a good thought. That's why I sat there with Luke yesterday going, that's why you can't play technical analysis. Do you have those same trends that you had in 2000, 2008? No. and the fact it's price fixed and now we're trying to break it. Do you understand that concept? No, they don't understand the price fixing. They don't understand any of the variables. They just say, well, it went up this much in 2008. It'll go up this much now. They don't get it. Every central bank in the world's buying gold. They don't get that. Was that happening in 2008? No. So you have all these different variables, which is what I was telling Luke. The variables are different. I'm telling you all the variables. I'm telling you, you can't use technical analysis. And I'm not guessing on it. I know you can't. I know that if you have 10 different variables. So if you're looking at the Indianapolis Colts, like I say, with Peyton Manning, or New England with Brady, but now Brady's gone, you can't use the New England technical trends because Brady's not there. I can't use the gold trends because that we're hopefully going from it's price fixed, so they'll keep the price where they want to until Russia comes out with the BRICS, and the BRICS goes gold's 20,000, and then it'll be 20,000 because of some new variable called BRICS, and they're making the price of gold what it should be because every country wants to get out of the dollar and into gold. Therefore, that's the difference. Does anybody understand that? No. That's my point. So that's why I go, you can't use a trend analysis in stocks or gold or any of it because it's the variables change. Brady's not on New England anymore. Russell Wilson's not on Seattle. The variables have changed. Therefore, you can't use technical analysis, which is basically looking at a chart and going, oh, well, it did this, and then it did this, and then it did that. Oh, it's going to go this now. It's ready. It's going to come back up. That's why people say buy the dip. Do you understand why it dipped? No. We just know if we buy the dip, it'll come back up. No. What I bought gold, what did I tell you I did? At 10 o'clock every day, it went down because London was resetting the price every day at 10 o'clock London time or U.S. time. So they would lower the price of gold. And then because it was artificially lowered, once it kind of then the market would buy it. Then I get back in, and that's when I buy it because this wasn't real. And so that's what you ask. Why does gold go down every day at 10 in the morning or roughly 9:45, 10:15? Why is there always the spike down and then it kind of spikes back up? Because it's controlled. It's not free market. And that's stuff that you are doing. They say wise comments to why are you collecting coins with pictures of kangaroos? What are you talking about, Bobby? They say wise comments like, I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean that's the point. It's you're you're buying the gold for freedom. You're buying the gold. They'll keep saying you're buying the gold to get out of the dollar, Egon and Alligator. And my point is, but because gold's price fixed, it's not the real price. So on one hand, you're right that the value of the gold isn't going up, that the dollar has gone down. So the dollar was $35. So what they're trying to say is gold was $35 in 71. Now it's 2,000, but it's still an ounce of gold. That's what I'm kind of saying. It's still an ounce of gold, but now it takes $2,000 because the dollar's been inflated. And what I'm saying is, but the 2,000 isn't real because that's derivative JP Morgan. The 2,000 is more like 20,000. So the real inflation went from 35 to 20,000, not 35 to 2,000. And that's the point these guys are missing. They don't understand the price fixing concept that it's never been free market. So once it hits it, we don't know what the price is. I might be way low at 20,000. It could be 100,000. We don't know because we haven't seen it go in 1980. We haven't seen it go in 2008 and 2000. the .com bubble busting, the housing market. Believe me, gold would have went to 20, 30,000 in 2000. And then in 2008, it'd be 50, 60,000. Believe me, because the people trying to leave the Titanic is the frenzy. Well, you've had two frenzies, a .com bubble collapse and a 2008 housing market collapse. Those are two frenzies that would have made everybody. Now you got in banks. Now I was watching the thing yesterday, and they were saying there already are bank runs. People are taking their money out of the banks, but they're putting it into bonds or something like Warren Buffett. They don't. Well, why aren't they buying gold? See, they don't quite get it. They're not. They're keeping it in money, so they're still on the Titanic. So the best way to say it is, so we're getting out of the bank, which is the third floor of the Titanic. We're going to go to the fourth floor of the Titanic, where the bonds and stocks are. We're not getting off the Titanic. We're just simply moving to a different floor in the Titanic, or we're going to the second floor. But we're not getting off the Titanic. That's my point. Get out of the stock market, Titanic. Get out of the bond market, Titanic. Get out of the banks, Titanic. Buy gold and get on the other boat. And this is what they're not getting. So they just think, oh, well, we'll move our money into bonds. You're still in the Titanic. It's still going to zero. It's still in paper, fake money. So what is the problem? What are you not under, so Warren Buffett, the great investor, yeah, I can make a lot of money if I had 1 million shares of Coca-Cola and Disney. And now Disney's going bankrupt, so you got to get out of them. Let's see. Some people I know that know I buy silver. Oh, okay. Why are you collecting coins with? Oh, okay. Now I get it. Well, say you like kangaroos, and you like the Austrian one, the Philharmonics. That's a good one. Some people I know, they know. Okay. I told them because I'm wisely investing and to not talk shit about my kangaroos, I'm going to shove my baseball bat up their asses. You're going to lay the smack down on them and give them the people's elbow, I think, is really the other question. When you said two frenzies for a second, I thought two Kenzies, yeah. Kenzie's mad at me because she wants the money. Like, why aren't I giving her money to meet? I said, I'll give you money why don't I go pick you up? Supposedly she's 10 minutes from here, 20 minutes from here at some hotel in a part of town. There is no hotels. So she looks at a map, sees this city, says, oh, that's where I'm at. If she really was at a hotel, she'd be by me. I'm in the nicer part. And then she said, well, you got to do your part of the agreement. And I'm like, I'm not, that's a scam. You're not real. My girls in Europe send me pictures every day, right? Pretty much. Here's me. We're at the lake. We're at this. We're at that. I got a new hat, But yet Kenzie can't send me a picture. And you're just like, oh, yeah, you're real. Okay. Yeah, my management company. Oh, okay. Well, okay. Good luck. I go, I'm not an idiot. You are not getting me to get scammed. It's not going to work. You can't scam me this way. It's not going to work. It'll never work. Stop trying it. So she says, I guess I'll unsubscribe from your channel. And I'm, go ahead. I don't believe you're there anyway. So it's just funny the way, where is Kenzie supposedly from anyway? She is in the States or out? No, she's in the States. If you read her Twitter, it says LA and Vegas. The person I'm talking to says she's in New Hampshire. When I look at her background, if you like Google her, she's, I think, New Hampshire or something, like she was born there or something. Then she keeps saying, I'm in Detroit, but you got to pay to meet me. And I'm like, okay, give me a call, send me a picture. Let me know it's really you. I can't remember what movie that's from, but oh no, it's My Cousin Vinny. I got $200 for you. And he shows him a roll. And he says, well, that could be a 20 with a bunch of ones. And of course it is. So Vinny's like saying, okay, show me the money. And the guy can't, and that's what I feel like I'm dealing with is I'm Joe Pesci and the girl's the pool guy. And she keeps saying, oh, it's me. Oh, okay, show me pan out the money. Show me it's you. And she can't do it. I mean, it's hysterical. So she says she's from New Hampshire. Now, the funny part is I know Jenna's from the Ukraine, and I know Daria's from St. Pete in Russia. And I know Carmen's from Romania and Irina because I visited them all. And I didn't go to their house. Well, I haven't gone to their house. I've met them when I get a hotel, they come. It's them. So anyway, that's the difference. But it was always them, and they'd always send me pictures. And on Skype, it was them. When I flew there, it was them. I never had an experience where it wasn't the person I was Skyping. I've never had that. But that's why the Europeans, they're much more honest with you. Like I say, I've never had that experience where I went to see a girl that I Skyped and it wasn't really them. And with Kenzie, I can't even get a picture. Okay, yeah, okay, so I'll tell you what, Kenzie, what hotel you at? I'll drive and pick you up. I'll give you $200 to pick you up, and you come back here, and I'll show the class that you're real, and I'll lay the smackdown on her, and basically that's where it fails, is she can't produce that. She says, then she comes back with, well, it's my manager and I got to fill out this form. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I just until you prove I'm not going to just blindly do that. I'll pick you up. I'll give you the money. Oh no, we can't do that. Oh, okay. Then I'm sure you're real. And so play the game that I should think it's her, and I don't. So anyway, whatever. So I think that's about a wrap. 3 hours. Yep. I want to go swim. They close at 4:30 today. Always on Sunday, and then tomorrow's the holiday. The pool's open like till 2:00, but my pool here is open. So I don't know. I might run there. I mean, I could run to the hot tub and ride the bike and then do the pool from here because I can't do a hot tub here. So I might do that and then go up north. It's an hour away and just unwind, buy some more. I need more T-shirts and stuff like, not a lot, just a little bit, just freshening up. It's always, I always like to do that, like on a holiday. Traffic's a little bit lighter and everything. So with that said, watch out for the communists at the pool. Yeah. Well, he's actually talking to me. He says he wants to buy gold after I explained it to him. And, he keeps saying I keep burning him because if there's anybody else in the pool, I'll go, look, there's Joe Stalin. And he doesn't really want to hear that. So you're a communist. You killed 40 million people. Good. That's what they do. You want to be one of them, go to Russia. Anyway, so good luck on the games tonight. I'll update the stats, but now I got to wait for today's game. Tomorrow will be Clemson Duke, so I don't really. I'll probably watch that game. I don't know, but at least I'll have almost all the school stats in, even the ones that are Division II. I can get the quarterback stats. So, like Georgia played, Joe Louis High School. I can still get the stats of the quarterback and go, okay, he did this. Even against that, I still have an idea. And mostly you're looking if the guy sucked or you're looking if they were really good. Then you go from there. Well, thank you, Bobby. Enjoy your day. Good luck. I'll root for LSU. As the professor breaking the game down, I say take the dog if the game's even. Now, my question is the game even? That's the hard part. Is the game even? I think it is. Based on the players, the defense still should be strong. The quarterbacks still should be strong. We know the coaches, so it should be an even game. Take the dog. It should be a close game. That's how I got to break it down. The question is, as I said, it was Coastal Carolina and over. They had McCall. What happened to their offense? And what did UCLA? Was it UCLA's defense or was it UCLA running the ball? What the fuck happened in that game that caused it to be 27-13? I will guarantee you there was at least 3 times they go for it on 4th and 1, run it up the middle in the 12 guys, and they didn't get it, and there goes all the points. So I guarantee you that happened at least 3 times, and probably some interceptions near the red zone, which makes the game go under because now the other team has it and has to drive. The overs come from the turnovers near the goal line, the quick scores, and it's got to be a competitive game where both teams need to keep going. Anyway, so that's about it. Have a great holiday. Have a great Sunday. Good luck. We'll talk pro Thursday. I'll do a little more research on Detroit, Kansas City, and then we got the games on Sunday. I'll let you know about work. I'm supposed to probably hear on Tuesday if I can get my computer working to find out what's really going on. If I'm, if I'm extended for 2 months, which is what should be fair. I signed a year contract. You can't blindside me and say it ends now because there was a random date. See, my boss says, I always had the date in the system. Then HR said, well, no, it's just a placeholder. We just put in September 8th. It wasn't really the end date. All right, what the fuck's going on here? Is it my contract house that are incompetence, or is it this Harley playing games? I don't know. Very strange what's happening. That's why I said, am I doing anything wrong, anything negative? And they said, no. Okay, I could see if I said, I like gold and you guys are all liberals and don't like gold and you're getting rid of me because I like gold. I mean, okay. That's probably what happened at Toyota. But that's what I don't understand. So anyway, let's go. Enjoy the games. Good luck. Hope you make some money. Bobby, enjoy. What are you eating? Did you get General Chow yesterday, or what are you doing? You eating pig's ears? You pig's earing it, Bobby? All right. I'll talk to you later. Good luck. Have a good day. Have a good holiday. All right. Take care. www.teaserking.com. If you're a customer, I would email you the games for next week as soon as I get the lines for you to bet them early. Like, let's say I like Alabama. I'm not going to wait till Saturday to post it. I'm going to post it right away to get the 7 before it goes to 9 or 10. Just things like that. All right, everybody. Have a great day. www.teaserking.com.